Cool it down, 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 my pretty. Bad, bad bitch. Make the bad, bad glitchy. Fine, 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 fine.
Hello, and welcome to Token Minority Report on Unsafe Space. Today is Thursday, September 22nd, 2022, and it's the first day of autumn, so happy autumnal equinox. I don't have anything fancy to say. I don't think I'm feeling super well today, so I'm just going to say let's bring on my the sunshine amidst the rain, my co-host, Alex Maselli.
Hi.
I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think of anything clever.
I was so bad last week. I know I was in the chat during it all, but I sneezed so many times while you were live, and I was so itchy, and I just felt like I was on fire. But that morning, this is the story I want to tell you. That morning, my cats almost got into a fight.
Oh no.
And they got into a fight last year, and that was when they messed up my dominant hand back in August of last year. And so they've not met each other since then. And this time, though,
you've actually kept them separated?
Oh, they've been separated this whole time. They do not
ever. I thought you did it sometime. I didn't realize that it was always.
Oh, okay. Always, because Lily hates her and gets really angry. So what happened was Missy got out and Lily was on the landing, so right at the door. So they were gonna meet immediately. And what I did is I immediately turned around to face Lily and crouched in front of her, and she immediately flipped on her back, all claws out, hissing like mad, and I'm just corralling her to not move. And then eventually Missy's oh, I don't want to be a part of this. She runs back into the room. She's like, wait a minute, never mind. and then so now I'm aware that I just have to be able to calm Lily down. So I start talking to her in this soothing voice, and her eyes, she blinks and her pupils undilate, she's coming out of a trance or whatever. And then she's
Sun's getting real low, big guy.
Yeah, essentially. She's like, oh, am I okay now? Am I safe? Okay. And what I learned is don't fuck with Missy. Missy is actually good at violence. And don't yell, just calming voice to Lily, and you'll be able to no one will get hurt. And no one got hurt.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad that my cats, they're not friends, but they can be near each other. Corey will pounce on Elsie but then just and bite down on her neck for a while, and then she is supposed to be still and meow, and then might turn around and bat at him and chase him away. But he's doing it playfully. He just is an aggressive player. But I know about breaking up fights with the goose and the rooster pretty much daily if I let them out. Today they were in the mud room is our goose house right now, and so the chickens, they actually snuck out. The door blew open in the barn because it's been so windy and rainy, and so they were we're free. So they came out and then I saw I opened the door and I just saw a bunch of chickens there, and Lemongrab just had his head up high, hissing, he's looking at them and hissing. So all the chickens ran into the corner that's protected by another pen and a tote, and Lemongrab was trying to get there, and I blocked it with a bucket, a feed bucket. So I put it in between the space so that way he just couldn't get to them. So the chickens had to wait until the geese went back outside and left. And then I just saw the chickens run, as soon as I led them away, and then they were okay, hurry. And every time Lucy, the rooster, will wait and try and wait until Lemongrab's far enough away or something, and then he'll scurry out past the barn area to make it to the rest, because the other hens are we're stupid, we're just gonna go anyway. And Lucy's the last one in the he will wait all because he's terrified now because Lemongrab is just such a jerk. They were in a fight yesterday, 2 days ago. It was quite had turned around for like a minute, and then I just saw them like kind of like staring at like head to head. And so I was running over to try and break them up, and he was so quick. And I don't really know what part of Lucy he got, but like when I was like reaching up to separate them, there was just blood on my arm, and I'm like, I don't even know where this came from.
Oh God.
So yeah, I relate to you having to. I'm glad you could soothe your cat. I do the same thing with Lemon Grab too, as far as because my boyfriend will try, and like sometimes he gets he gets mad at being attacked, and so then but you can't push him away, you can't be more aggressive because that will just entice Lemon Grab more, and he'll want to do it. So I'm like, sometimes I'm like, no, like if you try to calm him down, yeah, he's gonna bite on you for a while. Sometimes you just kind of have to take it and just keep like, I love you, until he like calms down.
I know, that's how I got Lily to chill out. Like, she was mad. The thing is, though, is that when she's angry, she is like absolutely useless in a fight. Like, like a complete and utter idiot when it comes to defending herself. And like, she acts like she's bullied all the time, and that's what makes Missy like aggressive.
When they think you're weak, that's what my Lemon Hope, like she's always just so scared and running on, like, and they chase after you when you run.
Yeah, you act like a victim, and all the other animals are
weakness.
You're the one we can take out, and that's how Missy acts. Like, I'm gonna take you out. Like, and like one time back when I did try to get them to get along and everything, I was holding on to Lily, and she was sitting in my lap, and she was not happy. She was like, I know that other cat's around. I don't. And like,
it's just uneasy.
I know. And then like Missy creeps up, and then she goes like, bam, right on Lily's head. No claws or anything, just slapped her right in the face. And I was like, I don't know that this is gonna work, because Lily acts like she wants to get slapped, and it makes Missy want to hurt her. And I'm like, I like Lily, she was way too young and was not introduced to any other cats until she was like an adult. So she has no clue what to do about it, which is why I think she's a one cat only household cat.
I like that. We should just do like an animal psychology stream or something. Just always talk about like, this is how you handle different animals.
Chill voice.
I like too that all of our cats we have 4 cats collectively, and they all end in E sound. We got Missy, Lily, Corey, and Elsie.
Well, Missy's real first name, like I've probably said this before, is Little Miss, Little Miss, Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. That's her full name. It's Black Keys song.
Corey. Oh, okay. I never understood what the reference was. Corey's is Cornelius Alistair Tavington IV, the acronyms to Cat 4. And I guess Elsie's is technically, it's supposed to be the letters L and C for Lady Chunkerella, because she was 15 pounds when we got her.
That's funny. Like Lily, I used to call her a bunch of different names. Like she's Pretty Face and Little Face, and Missy is Bug and Jerk. Like
most cats are just asshole.
Asshole. They're both asshole. That's just species.
Well, hello, chat. Let's say hello to them first. I'll fight you naked. Winky, winky, woo. Yeah, your name is all over. Because last week at the end, you said if I stick around to post credits, will my name be on there? And I said yes. Johnny Boy, hello. Catch up to your message. I visited where they filmed it, maybe 1991. I was only 15 or 16. What were we talking about? Prisoner in Wales. Oh, okay. I was born in 1991. Where's what was I saying? Oh, Winky also says I had a pet lamb, was a boy, and when he hit puberty, he started trying to ram us. Yeah, that's what Lemon Grab was super sweet. And then once he got like hit puberty and stuff, and then he started thinking he's top dog, top goose all around.
Do you think your current baby is gonna be like that? Probably gonna be.
If it's a boy, that's why I don't know if Lemon Hope is a boy or girl. Like I said, we've just been saying girl, but when she was like kind of trying to mate with me for a little bit, like he's just kind of stopped that. But so I don't know, like it's possible that it might just be a boy, and he might get more aggressive as he's older, but he's so skittish, so scared of everything. Like I literally chase him around the yard every night when I have to put them to bed. It's just the workout for me. But and and Lemon
So you
drops.
stay fit.
I know, right? We were also just saying girl, but yeah, as males, they might just get more hormonal and stuff. So I don't know. I might just be having to fight off 3 geese once they're all bigger. And if Lemon Hope might be an Emden goose, which can get up to like 30 pounds or something too, though, like over like the first couple of years. So if he just stays skittish the whole time, that'll be okay. But like, because then at least it'll keep running away from the aggressive geese. But like, you'll be just like the scared goose who's like enormous and can easily like smack down anyone, but you'll just be too scared to do anything, which is so like, if you get that big, I hope you kind of stay.
It's like a Great Dane or a Mastiff that is terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just feel bad that she's always so scared of everything, that like I try to like hold her and soothe her and just like say like, hey, like I've never done anything to, like, I've had to like save her from different goose attacks and stuff and whatever else, but like I don't know if she just like associates, you know, anyone with that now. And hello, your friend Paul. The mating might be dominating rather than sexual based. I would think maybe if it had any other sort of like dominating types of behavior, though, like it's sincerely, she does not, has no sense of that. And when Lemongrab was trying to mate with me, it was not in dominating, he was really gentle about it. Like he would just like slowly try and like climb up on my leg and be like, I'm trying.
He's like playing Barry Manilow.
Yeah. I've been sitting on the grass, like he's stepping up there because he's like, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to like go around here, and like he's looking around, like he'd be like really gentle, but
that's hilarious.
So I love them. Cool. He says when a dog tries to hump your leg, it's not sexual, it's dominating you. I don't know if I had a dog do that, just geese. So, all right. So we've got housekeeping to do. Book club was moved because we're banned on our main YouTube channel. So
for a video that's a year old,
almost to the date of our banning, it was a year old. Something about like COOF medical misinformation. So, so that was fun, and so we pushed back. Instead of September 25th, they're doing October 2nd for Salman Rushdie's The Satanic Verses. I think it's easier for me to remember when I say his name first and then do the book. Or maybe I've said it so many times now I've got it. But then we did not move back. We're still going to do Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse 5 on October 30th, right? I think
try to read for grad school.
Okay. Yeah, I never had to. But we'll see. Right now, okay. Well, I'll get into that in a second. Like haven't continued the audiobook for this book club, Satanic Verses, yet because I've been distracted in listening to a bunch of podcasting in the last few days. So
luckily I already finished the book last week.
So then you're good on that. So before we get into it, we're gonna watch the Little Mermaid trailer, the Black Adam Black Adam trailers and talk about She-Hulk. But before we get into that, I just want to say that I think Alex, Juliet, and I have all been very excited. If anyone is into like wrongful conviction, true crime stuff, the OG Adnan Syed from the Serial season 1 podcast, he was released from prison on Monday after 23 years. And his conviction was vacated, and they have 30 days to decide whether they're going to retry him, right? I haven't looked into any current news, but I never expected that to happen. So he actually I think he's under like a house arrest kind of thing or something right now for the 30 days, but he's home. He gets to be home, and after 23 years. And so Alex, Juliet, and I are going to do a late night Sunday stream. I don't know if we're going to be on, since we still don't have our main channel, we might just do alternative. You can find us on Rumble, Odyssey, and Utreon. So we're going to just talk about his release. So we won't get into too much detail here, but like, so obviously. The case itself. We re-listened to the Serial podcast, and then I'm listening to the Undisclosed podcast and the Truth and Justice podcast. I won't be able to finish it all, but by Sunday.
There's an HBO
I found it. So I need to see that still. am finding a way to watch that. Yeah. So it's just kind of like re-upping my disdain for the justice system, but my hope that like, hey, because the one friend Kenny Snow, like that he's out of prison and he calls me every now and then to check in, and I'm so glad that he's doing well with his family in Ohio. So I hope there's also, I need to find the link, but they have it on Launch Good. There's a fundraiser for him to be like get Anon's life back on track, like help him do that. So I donated to it. And it was just like their goal was 75 grand and they were almost there. As I was like refreshing it, like it hit it like within that 5 minutes. And now I think they're up to like, they upped it to like 125 or something. And I to try and but like, yeah, you know what? You've been in prison for 23 years since you were 17. You've never been an adult outside. Like I was reading a thing too, that he's never been on his own. He was a ward of his like parents, and then a ward of the state kind of thing, like where it's just like, you've never been on your own. So I think
they took his entire adulthood so far.
Away. Yeah. And that's why it was crazy for me to think of like, I know people, I'm friends with people your age, and then just like thinking about like, oh, the life that you lost from it. And because I know there might still be people who like believe he's guilty or something, though I think it's possible he did it. Like I believe he's innocent. But yeah, so we won't get into all that detail. Although I want to know.
We'll get more. Yeah, I know. It's a very exciting topic, but hold up on everything until Sunday.
Yeah. Hi, Silverlog. Your friend Paul says that women love true crime. This is true. And Alex and I have talked about this before about, the issues with true crime. And I think while I am interested in the psychology of like terrible people and psychopaths and stuff too, like I do like that, my interest in true crime has mostly been wrongful convictions. Like once I actually learned about, I think because of Serial, I never knew how like how much this seems to happen. Like even if it's happening just a couple times, that means the system is messed up and that we have a huge problem. If it happened here, that means it's possible and maybe likely that's happened a bunch of other times too. So like I'm really passionate about how much I dislike the justice system and how much I care about like the people who have been wrongfully convicted about that. And for the victims too, it's like if you're not getting full justice if you have the wrong person.
No. I also think like if there's a wrongful conviction, then that district really needs to be under a microscope after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially that district, like that's the like when you really need to pay attention, because it's like I'm not going to say that like a wrongful conviction in like 3 states away means that I have to worry about this one. No, right. I'm not worried about that one 3 states away.
Right.
Screwed up. So like I it's just that the United States is such a big country and we have so many different like districts when it comes to the justice system that you don't know, like, I mean, with that many of them being in existence, some of them are going to be messed up. Like that's just on averages. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And Baltimore seems to be one of them.
Yeah. But we will get into more in-depth conversation. I'm very excited because like re-listening to it, and like now I'm just all like pent up of like, I need to say stuff. Chat disappeared.
Yeah, I just saw that. We lost.
Well, Winky also says, he's saying that my boyfriend has been accused of rape. Well, Beverly's boyfriend has been accused of rape 7 times and murder 3 times. Yeah, well, accusations are different than like, either convictions or having done it. So, all right, what else is there? Another thing, we had, I did a bad movie night in our Discord this past Sunday. We watched They Them with Kevin Bacon, and that was bad.
It was.
Highly recommend it to everyone. Okay, so they had like, it was the gay conversion camp, and Kevin Bacon's they're all, the kids are all here and they don't really want to be here, and I don't know why it's called They Them. There was only one they them in it whose name was Jordan, and the character was actually okay. Like if Jordan if it wasn't about like being gay or like as a character, like no, I think Jordan's pretty cool. But Jordan also wasn't even that centered. Like they weren't. It was a FTM. weren't like a main enough character for the movie to even be called they. Like I have no, I thought it was more about like trans people. I thought they were going to be trans and or non-binary, I guess. Rather, there was a trans girl there, but oh no, I guess I should say that like that Jordan was not FTM because but they were female biologically and then went non-binary. I don't like the non-binary thing, but anyway, there was just so everyone was getting murdered. Only like the bad people were getting murdered. None of like the gay kids and stuff got murdered, except for the one who ended up not being who he said he was, kind of thing. So it was just, but it was only everyone else. And then they all did some sort of singing part of Pink's. Oh shoot, what's the name of the song? Whatever, it was like an uplifting song, but like all the kids were singing in there. I'm like, why is this in here? No one was murdered there's like one person murdered at the very beginning and then not for like another 45 minutes. And then they had some weird like singing scene that was unnecessary. No one died in it. They had 3 different sex scenes like back to back.
Jeez.
A lesbian one, a gay one, and a heterosexual one. And the first two, and the heterosexual one, they only got off because they were actually both secretly gay and they had to look at like pictures of their so it was all like kind of essentially like gay sex. And then the first 2 gay sex scenes were like that. No one was murdered during that though, like any cliche. But the heterosexual sex scenes, they died.
This is a morality play.
Yep. And then at the end,
people.
Super uplifting ending where it was just like, we've been through so much and we're all survived here and we're like, our lives are gonna get better. And I'm like, no horror movie twist, like every horror movie ever, though. It was just like, it was just like a preachy woke thing that just happened to have a serial killer here now and then like, and there was this preaching about how like gay conversion camps are bad and like here are the so it's just like so cringy.
Oh my god, that is terrible. Like it sounds like you're describing a morality play.
Yeah.
Like really for like LGBTQ people to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm like, I don't like them when they're like any morality plays. I don't like any of them. Like I think the only one I liked is the one by Christopher Marlowe, and I felt like it was because he was kind of playing with the genre a little bit. And it's also a very old one, by the way. I've never seen anyone like actually do one of them well because they're so damn preachy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen or read, but just like conceptually, it seems like, I don't know, like anything that's just going to be preachy about any time, even one that I agree with. I'm like, I just don't want it's overtones of something. Like you don't want it in your face. You just want, especially all the sex scenes were kind of graphic too, very in your face. At least the gay ones. So anyway, highly recommend it. We are going to do horror movie instead of just bad movie night. It'll be horror movie
for October.
Bad for October. Nothing this Sunday because again we're going to be streaming. I think we're doing that at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So keep an eye out on social media and stuff, or just check Utreon, Rumble, and Odyssey for those streams. Maybe this channel, I don't on YouTube. I mean, but we'll see. To talk about Adnan. Any other things that I needed to say?
I don't think so.
Yeah, book club, all that. I guess we can also just announce that we are starting a new series.
Oh yeah, we could announce that. Yeah. Definitely.
So Alex, Juliet, and I are all besties now, and we're starting a new series next Friday. We were going to start it this Friday, but we got banned. So as long as we have the main channel back, next Friday, September 30th, we're starting a new series at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. To make it symmetrical with narrative dissonance on Mondays. And we're just it's gonna be a lot like Feffy Break. We're gonna make fun of the news and have guests on. And our first guest is gonna be Josh Slocum of Disaffected Podcast. And then the following week, I think we have Elle.
Yes.
AKA some bitch I know.
That's the plan right now.
Yes. So as long as things don't fall apart on the main channel again. but we'll find out.
We'll
So
see.
currently, tentatively, that is our plan.
Yes.
All
It
right,
was our plan to premiere it tomorrow, and that got pushed back.
Oh yeah, I know they will be live streams, and yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
we got a question. What is there a name for the new show?
Have we officially settled on that yet? Or are we gonna wait to?
I don't know. I think
we'll wait to
we're
announce.
all waffling.
I know. I mean, I like it. I just didn't know whether or not we're gonna. Yeah, so we're gonna wait just in case we end up changing it though too. So I don't mean to waffle as if I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I do like it. Okay, so I think that's everything for now. So getting into it, let's watch this Little Mermaid.
Oh yeah, God.
Little Mermaid official trailer. Hopefully that's it. Put this on screen. Hopefully my internet will hold up.
Winky Winky knew Woo is protesting.
Uh-oh. Protesting what? Oh, to see it?
Just watching it.
All right. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Okay. Disney 100.
I'm so sick of them.
This is loud. This is too loud for me. Keep hearing it's so realistic or something with like the animation. Okay. This is pretty.
I don't think there's enough like
color
stuff in the water. Like, yeah, there's not enough color for it being for kids, and like it's like they're like claiming realism, but it's like there is nothing in the water. Like it's essentially not there. There's no bubbles. There's no like little floating things.
Yeah, why are there no bubbles as she's swimming around here?
Yeah, it's like nothing. And it's so dark.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh man, I just groaned is the first time I heard that part.
Uh-huh. And they've been like talking about. I thought this movie came out like a couple years ago.
Well, they announced all their live action remakes years ago because I wrote about them years ago, like long before you met me.
That's why, like, I thought it had come out because I remember them talking about it, so I thought it was already released, and then when they're coming out now, I'm like, I thought is this a sequel, or did they? I just never bothered. Oops, actually, I didn't want to get it because I want to look at the comments, right?
Yeah. Well, one of my problems with her is that, like, when they show her sitting there singing, is that her skin glistens in a way that it only would if she was in air. Like it does not look like she's underwater. Like there's no. I mean, I'm not even talking about the wavy effect. I'm talking about how there's no softness to the texture of her skin that there would be if you were underwater. So I'm like, why does it look like that?
Okay, so before, I guess we'll wait to get into the comments and things of Twitter and YouTube, and first just discuss our thoughts too. So I mean, and when Carter was asking the other day, we didn't want to get into it, but you said you had a whole thing about.
Oh yeah. And let me pull up why. I need to. I forgot to do that.
Now and everyone is up in arms about her being black versus white. And I'll say that at least they did make her redheaded because they've been getting rid of all the redheads in media lately and replacing them with black people. But I guess at least they colored her hair red. I have more opinions on this, but I'd like to hear Alex.
So I do not agree with this, with changing the race of a bunch of characters like in a row. Like you do it every once in a while, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But if you do it as a habit, as a company, I think there's something bigger going on.
What other examples are there of the repeatedly changing race?
Well, I mean, actually, it's not even just Disney though.
Oh,
It's
okay,
a-
so just in
it-
Hollywood.
like, and the ginger, the turning ginger people black
Yeah.
is like a common thing
Mhm.
now, that it's like, oh, it's a joke at this point. You literally did it again. But like, to me, part of it has, the problem is that the changing is going one direction. There's never any point where they're saying, we're going to change a
Let's make
black,
this black person to make them. I was thinking that
yeah,
earlier today.
or an Asian person. Like, they're not doing that.
Mhm.
So that's not a good sign. The fact that they say that one of the defenses is that it doesn't matter, and I always find that that's not a really good argument for saying that that you should do it.
Carter was kind of saying that because he was kind of saying,
I know.
like, why does anyone care? Like, well,
So like
people
who are anti-woke don't care about entertainment say it doesn't matter, but people who want this representation change say it doesn't matter too. So when the second group says it doesn't matter, it's kind of a problem, because it's like, if it doesn't matter, then why are you happy when they change it? Why are you
yeah
like,
really
clearly it does matter in a way to you. And I think it matters from a cultural standpoint, because for one thing, Africa doesn't have any mythologies about mermaids. That's a wholly European thing. So like, it's like it's like, if you would say cultural appropriation is bad, if that's what their argument is going to be, if someone wears something from Africa, or
then you're
like
appropriating European.
Yeah, then you're appropriating European culture, and that's not good either. And then also, there's a lot of this kind of cultural year zero shit going on lately, where they're literally replacing old content with new content to feed a narrative. That is it. That's like, one instance of something like that happening is not a big deal. But if it keeps happening, if they keep doing it, that's a problem. Also, and this is probably the final reason that really bothers me, is the fact that Disney's not doing this for representation. They're not doing this because they're so woke and they're so in love with Black American culture or Black people worldwide. That's not why they're doing it. They're doing it because they're basically saying, they're giving themselves a shield. They're like, if you think this movie's going to be bad, if you don't like this movie, it's only because you're racist.
Because you're racist.
And they know that they're going to get people on Twitter and shit to defend it using that method.
Even if they don't actually like the movie. They'll pretend.
Back in 2018, I think it was, before they started race swapping, but when they announced a bunch of these live action films, I wrote about how bad of a move this was. And so they weren't even race swapping. And I was already saying, no, don't do this. Don't make a bunch of
live action films generally. Yeah, I was just talking about that.
Yeah, don't make a bunch of live action versions of your animated films, is what I said, because I was like, I said it's like Disney acts as though it doesn't have money, that it can't take risks. And it's like, you literally are in the best position to take risks narratively, and you're not willing to do it. And so I'm like, before the race swapping, it was already a bad idea.
Yeah, I was to my D&D group one day, and they're all like, they're woke people, but like mostly you can still have like conversations carefully. Because like Alex, you and I have talked before too about how like we don't disagree on everything that is woke, though it's just mostly it's like the preachiness, but I'm not against certain aspects of it, or when they just take things too far, but they're like on a basic, because I'm more in the libertarian do what you will kind of thing. But I was just saying how I'm not interested in live action remakes of animations usually, though, because I'm like, what's the point? Either like the animation's fine, like it takes a lot of skill, talent, and time to do all that. Like, and if the film's well done, like I don't really care to see something done. Like it doesn't make me more excited. Like, oh, look at like these real humans doing so, working with a lot of probably CG stuff still. And like, oh, look at that. And I think it's just that like, oh, we can do this now, we have the technology. So if it's the case of like, we just kind of want to show off the skills of being able to do that, that's one thing, but it's a lack of creativity, that they're not coming up with new ideas. And then I'm really, really picky about how remakes are done, because how was I saying? I kind of put it in 3 categories, where it's like, I either want you to do it exactly the same as like, and I'll say like maybe at least from book to movie or something. I want you to follow through, like, because this is it's different from animation to live action, because the book, like, I'm imagining this. If I'm going to see something, if it's visual, then I want you to do exactly what was in this, because I want to be able to see what I've been imagining. But then, so that's what I might want in one regard. But then there's the middle part of, okay, you took some liberties in changing certain things, like that can be okay. I might be all right with that. And then there's the part where you change so many things that I'm like, why not just make this a different character? Like, you're only using the name, like, for the brand to try and sell it, or you could have just made it like, this is essentially a new story. Because like the middle part, I'll say that it's kind of like, I'll allow, like, sometimes I can see like alternate universe. So I always go back to Riverdale, where it's like, hey, here are these characters totally different than anything else, but we're just we're loosely using them to kind of make our own alternate universe type thing. I'm okay with that. It's when they're like trying to blend it, where like, we're remaking this but changing certain things, that you need to be okay with these change and acting as if we didn't make any change. Like, either make the changes like noticeable and important, or don't make those changes. And I don't know, like, it's specific, like, it really depends on stuff for me, because there might be one thing where I'm like, no, I don't really care about this. And what I'll say, the Rings of Power, I understand people who are upset that, like, that they want, like, oh, it's European, there aren't any non-white people, like, whatever. But I didn't super care about, like, if you're not like the wife, the queen or whatever, that she's like a black dwarf. And I'm like, well, if I don't know the characters, if she wasn't already a character who had a description and like stuff, I don't really care. I think what I care about is iconic characters. Like, Ariel is this pale skinned redhead. And then when you change something that, like, this is how people know you, is by and even in the live action, like, she's got like dreadlock kind of red hair. I'm like, so it doesn't even look the same. So I'm really upset by that. I'm not in like a racist way that I dislike black people, but it's in, you're changing an iconic character. And I think that's important. I think, like, if you changed Eric, I don't, like, if you made him Hispanic or black, like, I don't think I care about that though. Like, I think because he kind of just there, like, he wasn't really an important character anyway. I'm like, I don't super think I would care about him. But yeah,
I think it's also an insult to African culture and African Americans to say, we don't really think that your history of fairy tales matters to us. I would totally watch see, that's what I mean about them taking risks. If they took a risk and adapted a African fairy tale, and it was a fully black cast or whatever, I don't care. I would be more interested in that than I would be in this.
Because when I was talking on Monday night about, like, because my one friend was saying, like, oh, her voice is so different and, like, it's so great, like, how different it is. And I was like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to, like, skirt around, like, talking directly about it. I was saying, like, I don't know if I like the idea of it sounding different, though. Like, I have, expectations of what the voice would be like. I'm not sure. And he asked if I'd seen the Rogers, is that the right one? The Cinderella, the live action Cinderella in the 90s with who was it? Brandy? So it was like a black cast though, and I have not seen that, but I kind of think, like, if you're trying to do it, like, hey, here's this thing where we're just race swapping everyone, like, this is just the whole thing, like, maybe that's it. Like, maybe if you matched it where it was just like, if everyone in the film, like, that, like, they all changed, maybe I'd be more okay with that though, because at least you're like, I'm being consistent with my changes among everyone.
There is a supposedly very good movie starring his name Dev Patel, called The Green Knight, where he is the Green Knight, which I studied the Green Knight in grad school. So it's a British medieval kind of story, and it's very interesting and weird. And he's the main character, Sir Gawain, in it, And it's like, well, that's a little strange. Everyone else, except for his mother, is also white, including his cousin. And I'm like, I don't know that I want to see this like this. Like, my suspension of disbelief is not to that level that because everything else about it is a period piece, like exactly.
Oh yeah,
So I'm sort of like,
if you're trying to be
just
historically
weird.
accurate and stuff, yeah, like I think I mentioned this before too. Like I can suspend disbelief in different things. Like Louis C.K. I thought he chose his ex-wife in the show Louis, and she was a black woman. His children are white, he's white, and his wife is black. And the only time I think it was really addressed was when like someone asked him about it, and like and he was just like, I don't understand like he played it off as just like confusion, like, why are you asking? Like, yeah, like she is, and like, yeah, these are my kids, like, and they just never answered like a straight question.
That was a joke.
Right. And he chose her though because he just thought she was the best actress. Like he thought that she played the role the best and didn't care. And but like his whole sitcom is like weird though too, where like he had like weird non realistic stuff happen, but like subtly, and it was just so I think it worked for that. And I liked that. I like his choice of like, I don't care about the race of, and but like, and it also wasn't a recreation of anyone. Like this is his own thing. It's original. So I'm like, yeah, do what you want. And like I'd be okay with that. So it's hard for me to say. Like I think if what your description of the film, if they did that and it wasn't supposed to be like historically accurate, like this is a fictional piece, like I think I could get by. I'm like, oh, I don't really care about that either. It kind of, in Chilling Tales of Sabrina, they had, it was a cousin, his name was Ambrose, and he was like tan, I don't know, he was some sort of brown, where like the Aunt Zelda and Aunt Hilda and Sabrina are all white. But it was just like, oh, he's a cousin though, like I don't know who your actual parents are, like you might have like, so it's just like, okay, that's not weird.
Yeah, I have 3 Native American cousins. We're blood cousins.
I'm the I'm the only tan one on my dad's side. Like I live with my dad's family, so like any family pictures that are all white except me. Though, like, so that's just like that happens. Yeah. But it's, I think it's, if it's not explained and it's supposed to be historically accurate, like if it's fictional and you're in, especially a comedy, if it's a comedy, I'm like, all right, like I will let that. But if it's supposed to be serious and you're historically accurate, like, yeah. So it really depends on the situation.
Yeah. I think the part of the problem is that it's like, if you're trying to say it's medieval England for the Green Knight, and then why would there be Indian people there at all? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Like if you're a medieval fantasy world of something, though, like, okay, then you can have anything. Like, I don't really care. Yeah. I mean, I guess when it's your own.
Because the problem with Rings of Power is that with the Black Elf is that freaking Tolkien said that there were 2 kinds of elves, like essentially 2 racial ethnicities of elves is essentially what he explained. And he said there was fair-skinned, like fair-haired elves and dark-haired, olive-skinned elves. So they look like, so it's like Italians and like more Britishy looking ones. And it's like, he literally said those are the only 2. And like, you're just going to ignore that.
Yeah, see, and that's where it's difficult for me. Where like, that's why I understand people who want to be who are a big fan. I think my boyfriend doesn't like the adding in like different. He's not watching Rings of Power anyway, but just like that the concept of it, he doesn't like. And I'm like so like I understand it, but it's just like on a personal level, I don't care though, because I don't have any attachment to that.
Although, from what I understand, Reigns of Power has introduced a elves taking your jobs storyline, which, by the way, it's like, if you wanted to do that, if you wanted to tell that story about people being racist, human beings being racist against elves and being mad at them for encroaching on their territory, you could have adapted Dragon Age, which literally already does that. Because people literally already hate elves and look down on them and are mad that they're around in that story. How they did, I mean, so to me, I'm sort of like, why you're making Lord of the Rings, but you're making it Dragon Age.
Was it not? Was Lord of the Rings? They didn't have that same like elves were less than in.
No.
Okay.
They didn't have this sort of like fight for territory and tension and fight for jobs and economic ideas or anything. Everyone's all like, those people over there are evil. Let's join together and fight that guy. And
but they're just usually separated though too, because like they have their own.
They have their own kingdoms.
Yeah, and so they just didn't associate normally. So then you might have that where like you might already think that like I'm better than the elves or I'm better than the humans just because you don't have the interaction with other communities and
they barely ever interacted unless there was like a literal threat.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I don't know. It's stupid. And the people who did interact were like, "Oh yeah, this is elves," and it was like, "Oh yeah, hobbits." You know, it wasn't like a fraught relationship when they did meet. So it's just it's really, they've introduced modern politics into it. Essentially, they're not acting like the elves are like illegal immigrants or something. It's very strange and not like I people who are fans of Tolkien, I get why they're not watching the show and why they or hate watching it, because it's not really Tolkien.
Yeah, like it reminds, and maybe I'm kind of on the other side in referencing this. That reminds me of like D&D. When I had RPG Pundit on an episode before, when I was doing the interviews, I remember when I talked about this in the past, people were upset with me because like there's lore in the D&D universe, or like in certain parts, like certain worlds and stuff too, that they, like dragons, the metallic dragons are evil, the non-metallic ones are good, like, and they had alignments, like goblins are evil. And I didn't like that idea though, because like if you're intelligent enough, then there's free will, and like you should, like, I don't understand in the world that like, oh, that you just automatically are good or evil based on like how, like what you were born as. And I just didn't like that idea. So I made it so my alignments have always just been like, there are some good goblins, there are bad goblins, like it varies depending on stuff. My boyfriend plays a goblin. He's a warlock / bard, producer goblin. He loves like performance and stuff too, so it's like all silly. But and what I really liked with RPG Pundit saying how it really depends on, like, I'm doing like a what's the I can't think of like the right term for it, but like I'm doing like a modern idea of like free will and individualism and stuff too, which is just like not like a lot of the D&D ideas are like they have certain go back and watch the episode of RPG Pundit because he's a lot better at explaining this, because I can't remember any terminology. But it was just like, oh, these, like, there are different concepts of like, this is the type of campaign that you're doing, when like, oh, they didn't have the same kind of like free will individuals, and like you did just have like, here's the lore, like the history of orcs, here's the history of whatever. And for me, like I threw all that out because I just started my own. Like the histories are different, like these are just like different creatures here though, like the build's the same, but like everything else I'm going for an individual. I know
there's a split among D&D players between people who are like, no, book, and the people who are like, no, homebrew. And like, honestly, because it is interactive, anything like that is incredibly interactive, I feel like you should have license to do with it as you will, because it's literally telling you to do something with it. It's
you're
like
playing pretend around a table like this. I always say that you're just doing improv around a table. Like, yeah, I don't get
it requires your involvement. So I feel like it should be a little freer. Mm-hmm. I don't actually like it in tabletop when people are all like, oh, no. The rule on this page says blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, it doesn't make it fun or not. That's my question.
Yeah. My biggest thing is like, are we having fun? Like, is this group that we are playing a game together? Are we having fun doing it? And if you're going to, like, if rules are going to get in the way of having fun, then like, why play this? Or like, too strictly. We're very loose with stuff. But even Gary Gygax, like early on when he made it, people would call him up and ask him to like clarify certain things, but even he would say stuff about like, it's your game, like ultimately. And even in the books, if you read the starter guide, whatever, the DM manual, whichever one it is, player's handbook, something where like it says these are guidelines for it, and ultimately the dungeon master is the one who gets to like a say in the end, like what you get to do. It's your game, you get to run it how you want. So I don't know I don't understand people who would be like, you have to follow this like so exact or something, that like I truly don't, when it even says in the books themselves, and the creator is just like, yeah, like we all agree you're playing pretend.
You like, that is to me a different kind of form of entertainment. Like every form of entertainment has its expectations and its rules. And I don't mean like a rule book rules. I mean like what people are willing to put up with and what they don't want and everything as a group of people consuming that form of entertainment. And the problem, I studied adaptation in school. It was very important to me to think about adaptation as a writer. And people will probably let you get away with things if you are good. The problem is right now, most of these changes that people are making, most of the skin suiting that's going on, they're not good. They're not good, and they're using the diversity as a shield for not being good.
So even my woke D&D friends, who are all guys, all white, we were talking about Ghostbusters. I haven't seen either of the new films, but they like pretty much they're all agreeing that the first one with all the women was not a good film, and they're like they thought like it had potential, but the story was just bad. They said if they could have just done the sequel and had done it with them first, it could have been good. But like the story, and I haven't seen either of them, but they, so it was interesting to hear them, like, instead of being like, oh, like it was so great and we have to say that, like, but like to actually admit and say like, no. But I think you could even see too that they were kind of like iffy on like saying it a bit.
Yeah,
just, like,
a little nervous.
Like
Can I say this? Because of the fact that if you say anything negative about any of these skin-suited films, or TV shows, they go, oh, you just don't like it because you don't like women. You just don't like it because you don't like Black people. That's literally, they do that not because they care about representation. They do it because they know they can market a protection racket, like essentially around making those changes. Like, well, we don't have to make a really good movie. Instead, we can make a money grab and browbeat anyone who says it's bad, by using an ist word against them.
It happens everywhere too, because it's not even just in like filmed things, because it happened at Second City. I think I've talked about this, where the one I was a server on the night staff there, and so I'd work through all the shows. It was soul sucking. But the one show, it was 3 Black people and 3 white people. The director was Black, and he was hilarious. I thought he was, as a performer, like he was a teacher or an instructor there, and they had like there were like certain nights of just improv in like some of the small theaters, and they had a faculty jam. And I thought he's hilarious. Like he was really funny. But the show itself that they made was really preachy about racism and Blackness and everything. So that was the show that I saw the most walkouts of people. But everyone was in denial, like my coworkers and stuff too. They're like, oh, they're just racist white people who don't want to hear. Like, no, they don't want to be called racist constantly in a 2-hour show. They want to come here and have fun, and they don't want to be yelled at and being told that they're racist. So it was just, I had a couple, like they were both white, and they were like getting drunk, but like they were upset because they were like military people, and they were even saying, like, as they were walking out though too, that like, they fought to protect this country. Like they care about everyone though too. They didn't want to be called racist the whole time though. And so it's just like, yeah, I get it. Like, no, I understand. You can go to the box office and see if you can get your money back. But
that was the thing when I reviewed The Last Jedi. Before I reviewed it, I used to do this thing where I would do pre-watch thoughts, where I wrote about like the shit around the movie, and then I would watch the movie, and then I would write my review, and I would record that. So like for The Last Jedi, in my pre-watch thoughts, I was like, you can't walk into McDonald's and have the server go, what do you want, you big fat ass? Like, because immediately, what does that person do? They turn the fuck around and leave the store. And it's like, they're not getting McDonald's there. And it's essentially what a lot of these marketing campaigns are. They're like, oh, you don't want to watch this movie? Well, that must mean you're racist. It's like, you just insulted the audience. And like, you think that they're going to stick around? Like, and it's so funny too, when they say, you don't like my stuff? Then don't watch it. Don't read it. And then they don't
don't.
watch it.
And then you're like, well, then you're just you're not watching. I've always wanted, they are restaurants, and I've always wanted to go to one where the servers do insult you, like that is part of the gimmick. It's just
Yeah,
that
like
they're
that
mean
is
to you, like, but it's,
expectation.
yeah, expect it. But and I've always wanted to go to one of, or work at one of those. That would be
Yeah, that would be fun.
the server though, to just be, because yeah, I had to like, oh, I'm talking in an octave higher than I normally do, and I'm just trying to be super cheery for 3 hours. But yeah, and to just be able to be like mean.
Yeah. I don't know that I could go to a place like that as a patron, just because of the fact that like I don't like confrontation like that. So I'd be so uncomfortable.
I'm super non-confrontational, but if it happened, I would just take it too. So I'm like, I wouldn't confront back if they were just being insulting. Then I'm like, oh yeah, just go cry now, and then we're in this booth. But yeah, I would be. Someday I'll get to go to one, but then just punch
like,
the person.
But yeah, I don't think that like this whole idea of I'm gonna make a movie or a TV show on an established IP because that will make me money because I can't take any risks. But I'm gonna make changes I know that the audience that I'm relying on is not going to like, and then I'm going to insult them for complaining and expect my movie to do well.
Yeah.
The logical quality of that.
Be in denial if it's not, and just, yeah. Also, side note, just to admit something, every time anyone ever says IP, and they were saying it on Monday night too with my friends, I immediately think internet protocol, and then I have to think like, and it took me like 10 seconds because I'm like trying to remember like, what does it stand for, like in this context, like what are we using here? And I just intellectual property. Yeah, I got there eventually. I got there, but it takes me a while every time because I'm just stuck on internet protocol. I'm like, no, there are 2 other words that start with IP. But like every single time, like it takes me a while before I'm like, what are we talking about?
I like it better when they do take risks. Like, honestly, like for example, you were talking about like changing things drastically. Like, for example, The Princess and the Frog, the animated movie, is drastically different than The Princess and the Frog, the fairy tale. Like, it's not telling the same story with a black princess. Which, by the way, if you've not read the story's very weird. What I'll tell you, she's like 8, and she's playing with this golden ball, and she loses it in some water, and she tells this frog to go get it for her, and the frog goes, "I will if you agree to marry me after I get it for you." And she goes, "No." No, she agrees. So he goes down there and gets the golden ball, brings it up to her, and he's like, "Okay, now you gotta marry me." And she's like, "No, I'm not doing that." And he's like, "No, you promised, and I did what you asked me to do." And and she picks up the frog and throws it at like a rock face, and it dies, and then comes back to life as a prince. And then her father makes her marry him. That's The Princess and the Frog. So honestly, I'm okay with that like being changed. Like, because the whole kissing thing, that came later. The actual story of The Princess and the Frog is really weird and strange.
Whose story was it originally?
I think it's Grimm.
Okay, that's what it kind of sounds like.
But so like it's weird and stupid. So they like taking license with that. Sure, go ahead. No one is reading that story to their kids.
From original stories to Disney movies, they've taken a lot of liberty in different things. I mean, like I think Little Mermaid. I think in the story, she dies and she becomes air bubbles or something.
For 300 years.
Yeah, she's stuck
and she does not marry Eric.
Yeah, no, yeah. She like watches him fall in. I think he like gets with someone else though, and she's just like in the sky with like other dead mermaid like souls or something though too. I'm like, this is awful. Like, I do not.
Actually, the funniest part about it is when he marries a different woman, and she's like outside his bedroom after they've consummated their marriage, I guess. I don't know. It's like they're asleep though. They're asleep. So she's like, she has a knife and she's like, I'm gonna kill him. And then she goes, nah, I'm not gonna kill him. And
I
then
don't
she
even remember that.
and then she dies. And
she was still.
And then mermaids don't have souls, so she's gonna be sea foam for 300 years, and then God says, you know what? Because you didn't kill him, I'm gonna let you go to heaven after 300 years of being sea foam. And I'm like, and it's like, the thing is though, like what I find so funny about that is that it's like, so she had the thought, she had the knife, she was literally there, and she was gonna kill him.
And God rewards her
for changing her mind.
Okay, I'm so proud of you. You did such a great job in not killing someone right when you were like gonna do it.
Well, so the thing is though, is that like
I thought she like actually helped him or something, not nearly
she
murdered
did too,
him.
but she loved him, but he loved him. It's like, I don't know that you love someone that you're gonna you consider murdering them that far.
Only murders in the building. They have that about that.
But like, so like the Princess and the Frog animated movie, they changed a lot. They made it more. It's actually more based on Jazz Age content, and I love that movie. And like everything is different. Like there's very little of it that is the same as the Princess and the Frog, because the princess doesn't turn into a frog in the Princess and the Frog. It's almost entirely a different story. So it's not like it's the same plot and they just plucked like one ethnicity out and replaced it with another one. Like
they took a whole, they made a cultural change in it, and which is what I like adaptations like that, where it's. But I don't mind spins on, like there's been a bunch of different Cinderella type stories and stuff too. So like, but like when you throw it in, like we're taking this general plot but we're putting it in like whatever age that you want to like, put it in medieval times, put it in the future, like whatever kind of thing. They do it a lot for Christmas movies. But like I don't mind when it's just like I think of it kind of an alternate reality. Maybe I'll take that back with like the Riverdale thing where there's the balance between like you've changed it a bit and where you either need to not use the characters at all or and just say that's your own original thing, or it's that I am loosely using it intentionally.
If you say you're being loose, like if you say your adaptation is not close, like Mirror Mirror is very good. I really like Mirror Mirror. That stars Lily Collins and Armie Hammer and what is her name?
Is that a Snow
Julia
White
Roberts.
Thing?
It's Snow White thing.
Okay,
but it came out about the same time as Snow White and the Huntsman, but it's a comedy. Like it's like a fairy tale rom-com. It's really fun. Yeah. It's fun. And then like I like loose adaptations. I think loose adaptations are like, because you're not going to get the first viewing or the first reading experience that someone had of something. So just go loose. I think you should go loose. Go as loose as possible. In fact, I think that's better. Now, I'm going to say that some audiences are not going to be for that because of the fact that like the Lord of the Rings audiences are not okay with that. I
don't think it's loose enough then either. But one thing I'll say too, that like I know that you like the show and I haven't given it a chance, but just based off of concept Elementary, where I don't know if it's either not loose enough for me or something, because I'm like, I just don't understand like you have like why you just changed Watson to be an Asian woman, right? It's the white man Holmes, Sherlock Holmes, and then Watson is an Asian woman. And I'm just like, so I think maybe it needed to be more both women, something else there where there was more.
One of the other like really big loose things is that it's modern day,
right? And I was
pretty
thinking,
huge.
But then, and I just don't know if I don't know what it is though. Like, so something about it, I have to think about like I said earlier, where it's just like, it's dependent on the story, the media that, because I'm like, I'm really bothered by that change. And I don't know what I'd be okay with if they made it better. Like Sherlock, I think you said you don't like that. I enjoyed it well enough, and that's modern day, but they kind of stuck to like the same characters and just plopped them into modern day and retold the story. So I liked that. But then Elementary, I probably would love it as just a show itself, but because they took those characters' names, I've just never like, no, I don't feel like watching this.
Well, while I like Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman as Sherlock and Watson, I've never liked the mysteries on that show because they actually are not direct copies of the mysteries from the short stories, so they're not actually as good as like it's like that's my biggest problem. And also I didn't like what they did with Irene Adler. He beat her, and I'm like, he's not supposed to beat her. And they made her
British. Why was she British? She's like specifically American.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't like what they did with Irene Adler on Elementary either. Like,
oh, really?
I think both shows screwed that character up. I'll be perfectly honest. I don't think either of them did a very good job with Irene Adler. It's like, just do what Irene Adler does in the short stories. She beats him. That's the only thing you have to do, and I'll be fine. It's like the only thing that matters.
Yeah, but, for like modern days, like it's not woke enough, like, making her.
Yeah, really. It's like, how are you not as woke as he was? Where Irene Adler wins. But yeah, like I really like adaptations that do crazy things, and I don't like honestly. What is that? Beauty and the Beast.
See that till now.
Yeah. The Beauty and the Beast adaptation is almost exactly the same as the animated.
It's the only live action one I've seen.
And I hated it. Like, really? It was boring. And I love Dan Stevens and I love Kevin Kline, but I hated that movie. It was boring as all get out.
I don't remember. I saw it in theaters. I had friends who wanted to see it, I think. And then I remember Hermione Granger being in there. And I think it was just like, oh yeah, here's the live action, the thing. And then with a bunch of CG. So it's just like where I could have just watched the animation instead. So I remember just being underwhelmed because I'm like, why do I care about this being live action?
Well, yeah. And then like, I know when they were showing all their trailers for the Lion King live action adaptation, everyone was like, but they're all CGI. So if they're all CGI, isn't this just animated?
Yeah, that's what I think my boyfriend and I were talking about that too. We're like, okay, we should just and I think others have mentioned that too, of like get real animals, then it'll be cool. Like or you just, I guess you could do a Cats thing and just get people to play.
Honestly,
which is cool to see in theater.
Yeah, if they had taken the stage costuming and had actors do it, I think that would have been way cooler. Like, so like really film it on location and everything.
But just
the actors in that kind of costuming, I think it would have been awesome.
I think so too.
Their CGI way of doing it was kind of like, it's
it's a cartoon.
Yeah, it's a cartoon. It's a modern day cartoon. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll just go watch the old Lion King. Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah, so I'm generally against live action films from animations. I think I'd have to think about ones that like, oh, this would actually be cool to see. Or my boyfriend said, my friend who was a boy, G-Man is here. My gentleman caller has said, what was it? Oh, Robin. What's from the Robin Hood, the Fox version of Robin Hood, or anything like that, where it's just all animals, and then, but I guess they'd be the same as Lion King. But like, no, you'd have to just use real animals, like just put a fox in the Robin Hood costume and like train him to do stuff. I want to go back. I've been ignoring chat. Eliza asked, have you seen vids from Decoy Voice? He shows some pretty gritty stuff on what's going on with the blue states on crime in California, New York, Illinois. Oh, what were we talking about back then with crime? Oh, well, I mean, I'm not surprised by that. Like, there's gritty stuff all the time in the big cities. So fortunately, when I was in Chicago, I did not personally deal with anything like that. But I had a coworker at Second City. He was mugged by gunpoint twice. and you're
It's
his
not.
apartment.
We are understaffed for cops in Phoenix.
Mm.
Woefully so.
And it's tough when cities don't let you like want to make it more difficult for you to protect yourself. Like Chicago is not a good place to be able to
I
protect
mean,
yourself.
you can have a firearm here in Phoenix.
Yeah, at least you got that.
You can. But yeah, like the problem is that everywhere you go, they say no firearms allowed here. And I'm like, well, then how the hell am I supposed to protect myself on my way from the parking lot to your like front door? Like, I don't know like what you think is going to happen here. And then we also are we're not duty to retreat. You're stand your ground.
Good.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't want to live in a place that says that you have to retreat.
Retreat? Yeah. I forget. I was looking at Pennsylvania. There's specific, but even out here though too, I think like, or at least in like a rural area where you're like, you kind of like, we don't have police around here. We have a sheriff, I think state police, but I've never seen like you kind of just, I think they expect you to take care of yourself too. I mean, that's why it was so easy for me to get my concealed carry. Like I literally went in, did a background check, got my picture, and it was out in like 5 minutes though, because the woman said that the sheriff there believes that like if you pass the background check, I don't see any reason why you can't have the license. And if something happens, then we just revoke it later on. But like you get like, all right, you get it now. And then you get it taken away later.
Yeah, we don't. You can get a concealed carry license here, but you don't need one.
Oh yeah, you
can still concealed carry.
Nice.
We have a 99 out of 100 gun freedom rate in Arizona.
Nice. Yeah. We have open carry. If you just make sure that you always have it showing everywhere, then that's fine. You just can't hide it. If it conceals it, then you need the permit. But Chicago, I was saying this on JDA stream earlier too, with how like they had signs like you couldn't carry it, and like the trains, like any public transit, buildings always had signs that said no guns allowed, because like obviously all the criminals are going to listen to that and nothing ever happens then. So
yeah.
But it's too difficult. I have a friend who I think just applied, because it's more, you had to apply to get a card to be able to buy a gun in Chicago. And I forget what it's called, like the FOIC, there's an acronym or something.
Oh,
but
I've heard of that. Yes. Yeah. FOIC.
There's a FOID card, but then there's which is maybe a different gun thing. But then but the one that he said, what was it? But yeah, and it's just to be able to purchase the gun, which is not around here. But it's pretty much like you pass the background check at the store, and then you can get one. All right, it's gonna bother me. I want to know what this is called.
What it's called.
The firearm owner's identification card. Yeah.
One of the reasons why I don't want to live in a place that has duty to retreat is because I have exercise-induced asthma. I'm like,
so then you're like forced to run and then die from an asthma attack,
or get caught. Like, I'm sorry, but someone who's going to attack somebody is probably going to be like, if they were going to attack me, they're probably in better shape, probably taller, because I'm only 5'3". They probably could chase me down like within a few steps. Like I'm like, I don't think that I'm outrunning basically anyone. I literally made a joke on Twitter today because someone was showing this guy walking around on a subway holding a brick with his pants around his ankle, and everyone's all like, oh yeah, but you gotta be near your neighbors. And someone said, yeah, but you can't outrun this guy. And I said, this might be the only one I can outrun.
Yeah, that's maybe I was a little less concerned in Chicago too, like at night, because like I'm 5'7", I'm broad shouldered and stuff too. Like I'm not dainty. So then you just like walk with like a mean mug in your face too. And I don't remember being bothered. But I also carried a knife and pepper spray in my pockets a lot of times too, though. So
I don't go anywhere without a knife or pepper spray on me. That's damn certain. I don't take out my trash without that shit on me.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I live in Phoenix, so it's not safe. And I am not 5'7". And I did always walk like I was like, I'm gonna beat your ass and wore a leather jacket even if it was hot outside.
Oh my God, I'd die.
It wasn't fun, but honestly, I'd rather not have my
just
skin
be
exposed
murdered.
to the sun.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, just kill me. I'd rather not like die of heat stroke. It's because I do not handle heat well. No, yeah, walking outside here, I just have to be afraid of the rooster and goose. They're gonna be it. But I have been carrying my gun around a lot in my purse though, so but then I don't know because I'm like I don't feel like I need like Chicago is where like oh I should take that around like out here I don't know. Everyone's got guns, so someone will help me out. I think mostly you'd be afraid of like animals attacking or something, which doesn't happen.
Yeah. I remember one time I was walking to work and I saw two guys like just start trying to fight, but they both didn't really want to get punched in the face. So they were like swinging and also like doing this at the same time. So no one landed a blow. And then they were like,
so pathetic.
I know, so nothing happened. It was like I was like, oh, like it was on the other side of the street, and it was like, oh, are they gonna fight? Are they fighting? And then and I'm like still walking because I don't want to attract attention to myself while they're doing that because they are aggressive. And then I realized, oh no, they and then a cop car literally drove right by.
I did not think that they were threatening at all because that fight was too pathetic.
Yes, exactly. The cop did not stop. I thought that was hilarious because I was like, yeah, they're not even trying really. They just don't want to get hit. Like later on, I thought it was hilarious.
Hi, Mr. Drummer. Good evening to you, sir. Oh, wait.
We should talk about the comments on the.
Oh yes, we will do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Mystery meat thing funny. I don't think he knows about the mystery meat thing. He doesn't watch this show. G-Man does give me permission to call him my boyfriend. Okay, good. It's hard to remember. He also what does he say about? I'm pretty sure you only have a duty to retreat to the extent you're able. If you have a disability, that changes things a bit. What was it in New Jersey? I think Keith was telling us about this before.
I knew about that case, yeah.
Where like the woman she had to retreat, and then so she tried, and then she went out. What was it? She went up to the bedroom. There was a balcony, but she hid in the closet. And then the guy went in after her, and so she shot him. But then the prosecutor was like, "Oh, you had a balcony, and like you were on the second floor. Like you could have jumped. Could you have jumped off the balcony and not died? Like, I might have broken my leg or something." So like, oh, okay. So she got in trouble. She got fined or whatever.
Yeah, she got charged. And like to me, the problem is like I can slip in my kitchen and hit my head and die. So if I jump from a balcony, the chances of me dying are way higher than that. Yeah. So head trauma is not a joke.
And I probably would have answered, could you have like jumped off the balcony and not died? Like, no, I could not. I'm not athletic enough. I probably would have hit my head, like likely would have, or something else, and then I would have died, and you would have been your fault.
Yeah. I would not have said no. I probably wouldn't have survived. Like, what are you talking about? If I hit my head on the concrete, that would have killed me. Like, what are you talking about?
Like, depending on like what's your balcony like or something. I would just. I read a thing about a duckling. Like they were talking. Like it fell off a balcony though because they like went outside. They were upstairs. They're just babies, and it got loose and it ran out. And like it was. Aww. I think it lost its. I don't think it. Maybe it didn't die immediately. I think it was injured enough that they had to put it down. So like yes, this is and baby birds are pretty like bouncy and stuff though. So. Humans are not as bouncy, so that's going to be more dangerous.
I like Gene Ellis. Your Honor, would you jump?
Yeah. It's so stupid to, but then we're getting to like prosecutors, and I hate the justice system. So I get happy with that.
Wait, that was the thing when I was like really considering of going the traditional route for like publishing my fiction and finding an agent and everything, and I was like, would I have to do a book tour? And I was like, would I have to go to New Jersey? Would I have to go to New York City? Would I have to go to California? And I'm like,
no, thanks.
I don't think I want to travel.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Like even any other court that I don't remember if I mentioned this on air before, but I got a bill, a fine for like for going through a red light. I think, was it in New Jersey, in Delaware? Maybe it was Delaware, wherever. I think it was Delaware. And so they had a picture of like the license plate of the back of a car, and then it ran through a red light in Delaware in July or something. And I was like, clearly not our car. I think it had the same letters of it, but then like the car was totally different. So then I had to do like a dispute thing. So I took pictures of the back of my car and was saying how like, this car has never been to Delaware. Like, we've never driven out there. And I like, this hasn't been here. And I added in too, I said the back of the car and like in their thing was way too clean to be ours. Cause we live on a back road or like a dirt road. The back of our car is constantly just covered in like dirt and mud though. Like, and even in the pictures too, like you could see it, like they're clearly different types of cars, but I just like added in sass to it. When I had, like jury notice thing for whatever reason, like I think I was like in school or something. So I just wrote in like, can't do it because I'm not going to be here. I also like circled their typos and stuff too, and just corrected their spelling of whatever errors and things. So like sometimes I just get like sassy and in them.
In Arizona, jury summons, you have to respond to them digitally. Almost everything is digital in Arizona, like to respond to stuff and everything. So like I got a jury summons quite a few years ago now. And they were luckily though, I think by state law, if you get jury summoned, like your work will pay for one day or something like that, at least. Because usually, I mean, most people don't get called for very long. But so like I go in and I rescheduled it. First of all, I pushed it back. I was like, the Monday before Thanksgiving, you're not going to be able to pull anything out that day. I'm absolutely certain. So and then it makes me go in. I go in. That room is fucking freezing, by the way. And they play Age of Ultron. And I'm like, and they let us have free coffee and snacks and everything, but the only thing I could have was coffee. So and I'm sitting there, and then like I had told my office too about like that I had this jury summons and everything, and they were like, "Oh, do you think you're gonna get called for the jury?" And I was like, "Well, I don't believe in vice crime, so probably not." And they're like, "Oh yeah, probably not." And so then we sit there. There's 2 cases on the docket, just 2, only 2, and usually it's a lot worse than that. This is fucking Phoenix, and then they're like, "You all get to go home." It was like 9:30 or something because they pleaded out. And I was like, I knew it. I knew scheduling the Monday of Thanksgiving would be like the best time to not have to serve. And I've not been called since.
One quick question, and then we'll get into the Little Mermaid thing. What falls under vice crimes? So it's like it's the moral behavior kind of, is that what that is?
Yeah, like prostitution and drugs.
Okay. Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, so then I think of like, no matter whether they like actually committed the crime, I would just, I hadn't thought about that. Like, what way I'm just like, oh, not guilty because I don't believe in
if they asked you like, wait, is there any reason why you think you shouldn't be, that you wouldn't,
I don't think this should be a crime. Yeah.
I don't think this crime is like ethical.
Yeah.
I don't think that the state has the right to convict this crime.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they probably will say, go away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, is everything consensual? Did like no one was forced or harmed or anything though? And then like, okay, I don't think this is a crime. Like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me put up this. So which do I need to reorganize or just any of these?
No, these are pretty fucking, yep. So so let's just read them, some of them. I nearly cried when Flounder grabbed Ariel by the face, looked her dead in the eyes, and said, "Hasta la vista, baby." So heartfelt and moving.
The part where Sebastian says, "I killed them, not just the mermen, but the mer women and mer children too. I might have cried." What?
The part where Sebastian sacrifices himself because his missiles jammed to save the world and blow up the mothership is so moving and inspiring. And when he said, "Tell my kids I love them very much," had me in tears. such a wonderful and original work of art.
So is their point that this trailer was really lame and that like nothing
Yes.
happened in it, and it was just like what?
Their point is that it's a money grab adaptation. It's
Yeah.
shit. So it's
But
like
there's
they're
nothing-
just yeah. So all the comments are like this, by the
I
way.
love the
didn't
part where the
find
Little
it
Mermaid said it's mermaid time and mermed all over the place.
When Ariel says the joke, what's long and hard and full of semen? A submarine has me in stitches. LMAO.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
This is Sparta. They're like quoting
Sparta.
other movies.
And okay, so I think my friends had mentioned too that maybe the scenes that they had shown in this trailer that it was just dark because of in the cave and stuff too. So maybe other parts would be brighter, but because it's like if you're trying to be realistic, like, oh, are you making it dark that way? But like the movie is bright and colorful. And one thing too, I'll add that I forgot to mention earlier, as far as like the race stuff. In the TV show that they made after the movie, they did have a black mer people. Ariel had a black friend. And
there
so
was a Hispanic deaf mermaid too.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Was that a mermaid or merman? I don't remember.
No, it was a mermaid.
Okay, I thought there was a Hispanic merman as well. Maybe somewhere there. But yeah, so they had other it's just like you don't need to change Ariel. Like if you're going to just include other characters, again, it's the iconic part though. So like if you can just have other races because they already had that in the animation. Like I wouldn't
Just
care,
don't-
but
Yeah, the problem is that like don't take an established character for representation. That is just a silly, stupid move.
yeah.
Versus like adding a new character, no one gave a shit when they added those new characters. No one cared. So it's
Right.
like so it's like just do that. Just make a completely new character. No one would
Right.
bitch.
And whatever, like if the plot were different, like they added in something new, or they just added in a character to help out in some way. I don't know. Like even I wouldn't even care if they like made her sister, if they were just all different colors and shades and stuff too, because she had a bunch of sisters and then dad. Like because again, it's Ariel who's the iconic look, and maybe the dad that they look that way. And if you just kind of had like other ones down there, like in different skin tones and different what's it called? The fish part of her tails and stuff. I think I would be okay with that. It's just like when you're the main iconic characters in a story, like that matters.
Did you know that the sisters represent the 7 seas?
Oh, I did not know that. I didn't remember how many she had.
Yeah, so like that's the thing is that anyway, and someone made a joke about the fact that her mom represents the Dead Sea.
That's literally
Because it's like a lot of it's based on the idea on like European maritime kind of stories and stuff. So it's like that's why they're based on the 7 seas.
yeah.
Or a
that's cool.
wizard, Harry says Sebastian.
And then there's the Twitter comments and stuff too, right? About
yeah, discussing films comment.
I don't understand. StreamYard really did just stop allowing you to like swap tabs anymore. I don't know why. I wonder if like things were shared that were like ungodly or something. And they're like, well, we can't let you do that anymore. So you have to stop sharing and then reopen it. What does this say? I don't remember which one this one's. Oh, discussing film. Halle Berry looks exactly like Halle Bailey. Sorry. I was like, Halle Berry. Halle Bailey looks exactly like Ariel, complete with the red locks and the Little Mermaid. Incredible singing, and the film already seems very close to the animated version. Yeah. Yeah, she looks just like her. And I get it. This picture is not with her with the red hair. However, I think there are some differences between the two. And honestly, if we're gonna, I don't like judging by looks, but while I'm judging by looks, I don't super like that her eyes are so far apart. I think
who was that? Winky Winky Woo was saying that. Why are her eyes so far apart?
Yeah. See, Winky, you get me. But maybe it's kind of like a fish thing. It's It's gonna be mean to say, but I had already started and I committed, so I had to finish.
Well, you wait. Flounders literally have both
Have it
their
on
eyes on the same side of their face. Which, by the
Yeah.
way, if you kiss a flounder, you're supposed to have good luck. And I used to be really big into marine biology, and I took a trip to San Diego as a kid, and we dragged a net behind the boat. And we got a flounder, and they said that, and they're like, "Who's willing to kiss the fish?" And I kissed the fish, and then like. No, I was fine. But then, like, years and years and years and years later, so I told someone that story, and they're like, "That's why you're so damn lucky."
What was I gonna say with Flounder, I hadn't seen him in there, but I think other people, maybe they saw other things that they're like, oh, the design of Flounder looks good. Are they trying to make him look realistic? Did they make a realistic looking Flounder for this movie if they're trying to go with the whole realism thing? Because
2 eyes. No, thank you.
that's what, I don't think I have the Matt Walsh thing here though, but like we can talk about that, how he had said that, like, if you're what I don't remember what he said. Do you remember what he said?
He said something about, if you live at the bottom of the ocean, you would have translucent skin. And
that's what I had
make
said.
any sense.
And then I know that he was like trying to joke and like and antagonize people, but I had already been saying that too, just as far as like them being upset by like, yeah, the whole thing is fictional though, and I'd been saying like you're going to be albino or translucent or something. Like the things, and I think I have the images up that I posted in Discord when you, Juliet, and I were talking about it. But like the things at the bottom of the sea are terrifying looking. Like that is just where are they at? Let me pull them up.
Although the jokes about them saying that she looks exactly the same is that mostly were about like blind jokes, like, oh, so you're like Ray Charles and shit like that.
Oh, if you could. I like that too. Where are they? Oh, show more replies. Oh, it's because there are a lot of bad replies, and then Twitter likes to hide them and makes you have to click more because
they're like mad
when they're like, if they're negative comments, then Twitter's just like, oh, there aren't any comments here.
Yeah, but like a lot of the quote tweets were like blind and stuff. They're just showing you the good comments.
Yeah,
there's usually like something.
Oh, Spanish. Pay no attention to what your eyes see. We'll define
reality for you. Yeah.
Let's see. Margot Robbie looks exactly like Tiana.
I said that if she looks exactly like the Ariel, then I look exactly like Angela Bassett.
Right. Yeah.
Sure. If that's what we're doing.
What was it? She does a bit actually. I can't wait to see it. Same face. Can I play Pocahontas? I don't know if maybe that one's. I always like watching Spanish or like looking at Spanish people's laughter because I like.
I know. I have a couple of people Spanish speakers who are subscribed, and every once in a while they show up. They do cha 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 cha. I think it's hilarious.
Psst, Ariel is white. Yeah. So I think
and then like people are going, why not have Ryan Gosling play Obama? Or Lloyd? See, that's the thing, is that these only go one direction. These changes only go in one direction. Like colorblind casting is only going in one direction. That is a problem. I think that shows that society right now is okay with shitting on one particular race.
I think they think it's okay. Realistic thing. This is for Little Mermaid, and what was I doing? I was doing part of your world and just showing Anglerfish, and just insert Anglerfish into. And this is Ariel, and falling in love with Eric as this. Well, let me see if I had Blobfish and what was, I don't even know what the other one. I forget what the other one was. So that's Anglerfish. We have Blobfish. I have too many tabs open that I was gonna show. There it is. I love Blobfish. They are terrifying. Like they don't look as bad underwater, but when they because like once they hit a certain point, then
the pressure change is not good for them,
and it makes them blow up. But they're not the best looking underwater either. But above water, they're horrifying.
Yeah. They're so. I mean, no matter what, I think blobfish look gross.
Blobfish. I'm a blobfish. I love them. They're so gross.
That one that
name.
Juliet sent that like it was a drawing of
Oh yeah,
Ariel.
yeah.
You
I have that one up too. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
here's
yeah.
the third one. Here's the other one. I forget what the name of this one is, but that's all. Like again, like you're under at the very bottom of the sea. Like you're translucent. You're ugly because no one's looking at you. You don't need to be pretty down there. A lot of times you're blind.
Yeah,
Those are just let me find Juliet's that she shared.
that
I
was
th-
the best one.
It
Because
was
someone
a-
actually like did what Matt Walsh said.
There it is.
Yeah.
I think the art is good. But
yeah, it is.
I actually
Like it's still Ariel, but it's
Yeah.
Ariel realistically as she would be in
scary Ariel. Scariel. It's Scariel.
Scariel. Yeah.
Hashtag Scariel. Yeah. It's I mean I think like sea creature like there's sea cucumber like the animals in the ocean are crazy. Like I love and I know that you're into marine biology and stuff too, so it's just but I think it's so funny that like if you're gonna talk realism for this movie, then like you either do it or like shut up about it though. Because like I think it'd be hilarious if you did it realistically. But
well, because then it's Shape of Water.
oh yeah,
By
okay.
Guillermo del Toro. Because that thing was ugly, and she still fell in love with him.
Yeah, I forgot about. I don't think I saw the full film, but I remember parts of
But
it.
the Shape of Water is just Beauty and the Beast meets Hellboy. That's all that movie is.
Oh, okay.
I don't like it. I don't know why it won Best Picture. It's not that good.
It sounds kind of boring.
Honestly, there's a point pretty early on in the movie where he eats a cat, and I'm like, you know what? I don't like him.
I'm not interested. Anytime animals die, I'm just like, I'm over this. I don't want to be part of this anymore.
That's the thing is that you can't make one of your main characters that you want me to root for eat a cat or a dog. Or kill him. Like I'm not. Nope, not happening.
Oh my gosh, is John Delarose still streaming? Like he started 4 or 5 hours ago.
Damn, man.
I just see his live right now. Jeez, Louis, we should stream snipe him. He always stream snipes other.
Yeah, once it's do it. Alf ate a cat.
Oh
no,
yeah.
the main the fish guy from Shape of Water eats a cat. That was the thing I noticed about that movie.
Yeah, like in Stranger Things, the demo dog, whatever, like it killed the one cat. And I was just like, how can I like you now? I just it killed Moog.
Yeah. And the poor mom is like looking for a cat and everything. I'm like, she's not. I'm like, this is so shitty. Like, I've not seen the latest Black Adam trailer.
Okay, which one should we be watching? Maybe should we just pick one? We've been talking about Ariel and tangential things for a while.
Yeah, we did. Let's watch the latest one.
The legacy one. Okay, if everyone else, you can watch the old ones. We haven't watched this one yet. Yeah. Okay, this is already up. Cool.
Before a world of heroes and villains.
Don't mention Birds of Prey.
This is in the DC world?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Adam.
I knew it because she was in one of the other trailers.
Why do I know her? She looks familiar.
Suicide Squad.
Black Adam, we're here to negotiate your peaceful.
She was in Suicide Squad?
Both of them.
I think I've seen her in something else. In a TV show.
His powers are not a gift, but a curse. Born out of rage. You have two choices. You can be the destroyer of this world, or you can be
a
savior.
A hero.
See,
I had no idea. I think I watched the trailers first and then looked it up because I had no idea who he was. So then I had a guess of it. They're like, oh, you're someone who's going to be both hero and villain at different points in comics or something though too. So that's what it looked like. But he's also known as like one of the top super villains. I think I read that he's up there with.
Yeah,
like,
he's like Shazam's, or Captain Marvel as he was originally called. His like top villain essentially.
Mm-hmm.
What I like, honestly, I think I watched the second trailer first, which is where they introduced that they're doing the Justice Society. And when I saw that Pierce Brosnan's going to be Dr. Fate, I was like, I might want to watch this one.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I like Dr. Fate. I'm a big fan of Dr. Fate as voiced by Oded Fair in the TV show, but Pierce Brosnan is a very good choice for that, I think.
I don't know anything about DC supers, like nothing. Like I've said it before that Adam West's Batman is like the only Batman that I've seen, and just pretty much the only DC thing that I have seen Suicide Squad. I think I did watch at least the first one and maybe the second one, but I like that.
The Suicide Squad is very good. Very, very good. Suicide Squad is fucking terrible.
Which one?
So Suicide Squad's the first one, and that's the one with Jared Leto as the Joker in it. And Cara Delevingne as Enchantress. It's very bad. It's also got Will Smith in it. The Suicide Squad is the one with
that one just came out last year.
Yes, and that one has Idris Elba and
so it's not a sequel, they just redid it?
It's a sequel. It is a sequel. Okay. But they're not really referencing a lot. And there's not a lot in the first movie that is worth watching, honestly. And there's a reason for that one.
You hated it though? I guess I'm not surprised that you. Maybe you're just coming in as someone who didn't know anything about it. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of like, this is actiony. So and it had some funny parts.
Like Jared Leto was terrible as Joker.
I did not really like him. I guess I kind of just liked, what's her name, Harley Quinn.
Margot Robbie is actually not a bad Harley Quinn. I just didn't like how she looked in that movie. Honestly.
Did they not make her hair right? Or
she looks terrible as Harley Quinn. Like there's that point where she has the freaking mallet and then she immediately puts it away, and I'm like, no, fucking pick that shit up. And but then in Birds of Prey was also bad Harley Quinn. Like Margot Robbie is a good Harley Quinn, but they kept writing her bad and they kept designing her bad. But then they did the Suicide Squad, and that one is by the same guy who it's James Gunn, and I like James Gunn. I think he's a very good director, and he was like, well, see, the thing is, though, is that people wanted to see Harley Quinn in the black and red kind of outfit. So
Margot Robbie plays Harley Quinn in both movies? Is that?
Yeah, in all three movies, she's Harley Quinn.
3 of them. Oh.
Birds of Prey or the Adaptation of Harley Quinn, which is not a good movie. I don't like that movie. But Harley Quinn, but Margot Robbie is very good as Harley Quinn because, for one thing, she gets the physicality of Harley Quinn right, because there are points where she's like doing like crazy stunts and contortionist things that Harley Quinn is supposed to be able to do, and Margot Robbie's really fucking doing it.
Yeah,
like, even the elevator run up.
So I was just about to mention, that wasn't the director.
She really does that.
He was like, where are the wires or something though too? Like, no, like she just did that on her. Like she ran up like back, and I thought that's impressive to just have.
She's impressive. Margot Robbie's impressive as Harley Quinn, but they have underutilized her for a while. I think they did a good job in the Suicide Squad.
Winky's saying she was directed to do that though, but I think she was directed. They expected to do like wiring or something because I think it was the director or someone was just like they didn't realize that she was going to do like, or even if you're directed, like to be able to do that physically, like that's what
I mean, a lot of people just get a stand-in to do that shit.
Yeah,
they don't do it.
That she can do that herself is like, I don't know. I'll give you props for being able to be that athletic and in heels.
Yeah.
Wasn't she in like high heels doing that?
She was. There's a scene in The Suicide Squad where she literally uses her feet to grab a set of keys and then her arms are locked up above her head and then she brings her feet up to the lock with the key in them and she literally did that.
Wow.
And it's like, that's impressive. Like she's doing most of her own fighting stunts and all that stuff. So I am pleased by that. I just have been very unpleased by the writing of the 2 previous movies with Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm. Adam West was the best Batman. So I'll have to check it out.
Conroy was the best Batman.
I think that's what like DC stuff I haven't been super but maybe I like the villains more though because they're more interesting a lot of times where
honestly the Rogues Gallery of DC is way better. Like it is honestly way
I know the words that you're saying.
Yeah.
You sound like that, like gallery. Okay. Well, then we're gonna have to. I won't look into everything right now. So he's definitely. But I think what's nice, and I agree with my boyfriend. I hadn't thought about it until and I agreed with him when he explained it years ago with how, like Marvel heroes, they're more human, like they have flaws and stuff, when there were a lot with DC where it was just you have Superman who's like perfect and just the one flaw but maybe now DC, like with all the modern days, that like they are throwing in more the human characteristics of things, but some of them are literally not human, so
a lot of them
like that happens in Marvel too, but I think just throwing in flaws, like when you've got you're too great at everything, then like Captain Marvel, then people won't tend to like you as much. And it's nice to like, that's why I think Batman is well liked, because like you're just a human and very flawed, like psychologically with issues. And
Batman is the best DC hero. It's the reason why he has the most adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he is literally the best one. He's the most interesting of their characters, of their heroes. Their villains are highly interesting. That's the thing that they're very good at.
Yeah, because and like their backstories and stuff too. Like I think it's in like Harley Quinn's Joker, like her like she was his therapist, and he like slowly had her go mad, and then so she just became. I think that's really intriguing.
The funniest thing about Batman's villains is that almost all of them have doctorates.
I forget.
Like there's a thing. There was this guy that used to make these fake text exchanges for superheroes, and I don't know who it was, but they were brilliant. They fell out of favor, but like one of them was so good. It was Mr. Freeze contacting Batman, and he goes, "I don't want you to call me Mr. Freeze anymore. I have a doctorate. You call me Dr. Freeze." and Batman says, "No." He's like, if I do it for you, then everyone's gonna ask me to do it. And he's like, if Mr. Freeze is like, what are you talking about? And he's like, Dr. Harley Quinn, Dr. Poison Ivy, and they're like, Dr. Scarecrow. There's so many of them.
What was that from?
It was just a meme, like an internet craze
Okay.
thing.
I didn't know if that was
some guy made these like text exchanges, fake iPhone text exchanges.
I love fake. Like whenever I see like hero things, like where you just do. When I've seen like Captain America and Iron Man or something, like when they have like text threads. Like I love seeing all of those. That's so funny.
There was one where it was all like Cap was asking Iron Man if he could get on like his health insurance, and he's like, "Why? Why do you need to get on my health insurance?" And he's like, "Well, it's kind of hard to get a health insurance when you're 117 years old."
We had to do that I mean, it was prior to like it being like super popular, because this was back in 2005 or 6 or something like that. Like in my 9th grade English class, my aunt was my English teacher, but she had to just do like Romeo and Juliet, and we had to do like whatever big project. And one of the things that we had to do were like instant messages between like Romeo and Juliet and or whatever characters and stuff too. So we had to just do like chat speak IM kind of things, and that was really fun to have that. But that was so long ago. Earlier internet.
I did do a project like that for English once about the Greek gods,
Yeah.
Greek and Roman gods, where I was writing about Artemis, and it was like a news spot flyer for about Artemis, and it was like part of it though was an exchange between her and Diana, like the moves they were making against each other, because those are the same people, by the way. And like one of them, I said, like, I made a rape joke or something because they're both supposed to be virgins, and I'm like, I was 14 at the time. I thought it was funny. No, I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, like, but I still put it in there.
What did I say? Winky had said that Riddler was the best. Love Joker, but Riddler's best. I don't remember. So most of the villains I know is from the Adam West version of the, and I really like. I miss the Penguin. The Penguin was, the umbrella and everything too. And so here's a little story, anecdote. That back in college, my one friend, I've known her since I was like 12, but she and I came up. I think this was when we rode a megabus from Pittsburgh to Harrisburg, because it was only $1 and then we were dropped off at this like mall over near it wasn't actually in Harrisburg, so it was like nearby, and then we went into Outdoor World, I think was what it was called. So we were just like wandering through that. It's like, what are we doing here? And then there's a giant fish tank. She was like pretending that she could talk to animals, thus born the superhero ideas of Aquamaid and Aqualass. So then I drew like some comics of them. I think they're still on like Blogspot too.
Oh,
but
God.
They're like,
but when Blogspot was a thing.
Yeah. They're just like anime style, like short comics of just like, so like that they were like lame superhero. I think Aquamaid could only talk to fish. That was her only power. Aqualass is the sidekick and like deadpan. And I think her powers were breaking the fourth wall and convenient to the plot or something like that. And then they had a fish butler named, what was it called? I don't remember what I named him, but it was just like he had like a fish head. But then they had her arch nemesis was the penguin too. And instead, it was just an actual penguin.
Did it talk or no?
I don't. Let me see if I can. Hang on, let me find it, because they are. Yeah, yep, they are here. And these ones I even colored some of them too.
It is feeding time.
Oh, okay. It is 9 o'clock.
I'll be right back.
Here they are. Then I'm gonna just show you the audience these comics. I had
These are cute.
This is the work of the penguin, my worst enemy. Really? The penguin is your arch nemesis? Yes. It's been an ongoing battle for years. Stop right there, penguin. Squawk! He did not talk. Okay, that's what it was. He was not a speaking penguin. He was just a penguin. Oh, I forgot about all of these. This is like over a decade ago that I choose. Aqualass, could you fill up a glass of water and bring it to me? What, are your legs broken? Yes. Yeah, I forgot about all these. Oh, I think there was a long one that I did. Yeah, this is it. I totally forgot about this. The grocery shopping. Time for an aqua snack. Empty fridge. Aqualass, we need groceries to the aqua sub. I don't think a sub will get us to a store on land. I forgot. Drove into all the cars. Good job on the parking. Hey, I don't even have a steering wheel. I forgot I made Aquamaid just always speak in all caps. No one else did. Lots of food. We don't really need all of this. Half of this isn't even food. Nonsense. We need it all. That's $450. How do you work this contraption? That's a Long John Silver's gift card. Oh, yeah. Free crab cake at Long John Silver's. Ah, so it is, Aquila. So it is. I forgot. These are so silly. Anyway, I'll look at chat. Back in memory lane. Creepypasta Annie 96. I kind of remember that Johnny Boy. I don't know if I ever. Winky, maybe I'll do a keytar. Maybe post credits. I'll get the keytar out. We'll see. Rape jokes always funny. I agree. Rape jokes are always funny.
Oh, Clock King. I really liked the Lego Batman movie because it made so many Batman references, like, and especially to his rogues gallery. There was at one point where like Joker lists all these people, all these other villains helping him out, and someone's like, "You made some of those up," and he's like, "Nope, all real, probably worth a Google." And like one of them was Polka Dot Man, and the thing is about Polka Dot Man is that he wasn't really a villain. He was just some dude that the Mad Hatter was controlling. So I'm like, I am an even bigger nerd and will say that that's not a real villain.
This is a Batman Lego movie, like his movie specifically. I only ever saw like the Lego movie in the sequel. But I do remember did what's his name? Will Arnett play him still? In it. I remember in the Lego movie, wasn't it? And he just kept throwing the wrenches or something too a bunch of times, and then first try.
Yeah, he's so funny as Batman, and that movie is very well done.
I love who's it? Green, one of the Greens. I don't know which Green Lantern, Green something though. Who's played by Jonah Hill, maybe? Who's just like super. Wants to be like best friends with Superman, I think. Like so
that's Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. I thought like I love that dynamic of just like too eager and wanting it. It's a good movie. So I guess we're talking about superhero DC stuff generally. Black Adam specifically. Did you have like opinions on that upcoming film? I don't. I like The Rock.
I'm like back and forth on him. He does a lot of bad movies. But I am excited to see Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate.
That's what's drawing in. Okay.
Yes. And I like the idea of Atom Smasher, like, and, you know, I mean, like, and Hawkman looks pretty cool this time around. Like, I feel like the Justice Society feels like more of a draw to me than Black Adam himself.
Winky hates The Rock. When I say I like, it's never like, oh, I've gone out of my way to see him or like I like when he's done comedy things though, because like he's so large. So then they usually play the physical humor of something though too, that he's just like Terry. What's his name? The one who played Terry in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We finally just watched the last episode because we've been putting it off forever. But like, because he's just all muscles, and so they always comment on like how muscular he is and stuff. So I feel like The Rock too when they play into that physical humor for him. So I liked him. I like him in the the Jumanji films. I guess I thought he was fun in those. So yeah, in the comedy things but I haven't seen a lot of his films actually. Pretty much Jumanji.
I wouldn't call him like a very good actor, honestly.
No, I would say he's not an actor.
Yeah.
But that's why I think like in like silly films where he's like, you don't have to be that great. You just kind of have to play like a more flat character and just kind of having fun. And I think that works. Yeah, so I don't know how he's going to be in the actual Black Adam film, but
yeah.
But we'll see. I'll watch it if it's out, not in theaters. Probably won't see it in theaters.
That seems fair. I probably won't. I haven't gone to
until they get air conditioning again.
Or it cools the fuck down. It's still hot here. Mm-hmm. I know it's September, but it's still hot.
Yeah, I mean, you got some time. Maybe it'll cool down. It is just the first day of autumn. So, All right, I don't really think I have anything else to say on Black Adam, so we can move on to Marvel instead and go to She-Hulk. And I know you can tell me why you hate it.
Okay, first of all, they
Oh,
the
wait, I'm
best
sorry. Can we talk
Go
about
on.
Ms. Marvel real quick because that was the first thing.
Oh yeah,
Can
yeah,
we
yeah, Ms.
just
Marvel.
so we don't even get too much into She-Hulk, but just because Ms. Marvel was like a slightly or that came out
The-
beforehand.
just finished Ms. Marvel, and my two biggest issues with it is one, the main actress mumbles all her lines. So
Yeah.
I need I usually have subtitles on, but I'm like
Yeah.
really lasered in on those subtitles because if I wasn't reading them, I would have no idea what she was saying.
I liked her personality. I mean, she mumbled too much, but I did like the sarcastic kind of deadpan. Like I'm always into that as a character, which is kind of the same as She-Hulk though. But oh my gosh, Motown is asking to play EDF right now. I'm going to tell him I'm literally in a live stream right now.
Motown, come watch us talk.
Yeah. So I liked her. I thought she was sassy, and but I do agree. Like I do understand the mumbly problems.
And then my other big issue is that it has 2 climax episodes because it has a really stupid subplot that they didn't wrap up.
The villains, the plot, like they were just like weak things where it was like, oh, here's this thing that they're building up, and like, oh, this then they finished it, and oh, now here's the what are they called? Whatever the government
Damage control.
damage control, and then that built up like they just weren't really developed that well, the villains of it, and it was kind of like lukewarm as far as that goes. So the writing as far as plot goes was not very good. I liked some of the characters, the dialogue and stuff between some of them.
One of the things after I finished it, I immediately went and watched the pitch meeting by Ryan George about it, which he's very good at picking up as some really big problems and narratives that I don't always notice. Which is like, I'm honestly like, that's one of the reasons why I watch him, not just because he's fucking hilarious. But like one of the things he points out is that there are 3 boys who kind of maybe have a little bit of a crush on her. And it's like, does she warrant 3 different guys kind of maybe having a crush on her? Because I don't think she's that much of an attraction to the male sex.
So the third guy was the one that over in Karachi.
Yeah, Karachi.
Yes, I was thinking that too, because like she's like, oh, I'm not very like super popular. I'm awkward and insecure about certain things. So and like you've got 3 boys who like you. I was just like, this was not my high school experience at all.
What I love is the way
the
Ryan George introduced it is that like each time he goes, and there's this character, and he maybe has a little bit of a crush on her. And he says it the same way all 3 times. And the producer character is all like, oh, okay. Like by the 3rd one, like, what, really? And then like, and then he goes, and then there's her brother. And then producer guy goes, oh no. Like, are you going to say that her brother has maybe kind of a little bit of a crush on her?
The brother was my favorite character, though. I
thought liked him.
He was just so like, I don't know, like he was so nonchalant, like chill, and then but like kind of quippy with her. I liked when the camp Cameron. So like they pretended at the beginning to be cousins. Marvel, what's her name? I can't remember her name. Kamala. When Kamala and Cameron were like, oh, like because she didn't want people to know that she was hanging out with a guy. So she's like, oh, he's actually related. So she tells her brother and says that like we're cousins. And later on, when like everything's like falling apart and they're having to fight bad guys and stuff too, they're like hiding out in the high school cafeteria. And then the brother is just sitting across from Cameron at a table, and he's like, you're not really a cousin, are you? No. Do you even like British Bake Off?
Yeah.
So upset by it because they were like bonding over this earlier, and just like so offended. So he was. I want more of him.
I know. I liked her brother too. I did. Mostly I just was like, this is a mess, like writing wise. That was my main
Yes.
opinion.
So I I'll say like the problems were resolved too quickly. But I did like that her family learned about her, because I've talked about this like another me yeah, whatever other shows and movies, about how I hate when like Spy Family, when I'm saying that, like, it's not great when you've got like you're lying about like big parts of your life to your family or to like people you care about. Like, it really bothers me. Like, it's such an old trope too. And so I was glad that they finally learned about it, but then they got over it like really quick. Like, it was comedic how they found out, but it was kind of like such a contrast with like it seemed like it was going to be such a big deal beforehand, and then they're like, oh yeah, okay. And it was funny the way it was revealed, because as she's like trying to announce it, it was kind of like, like a coming out of the closet thing, but then they already knew because her mom blabbed to them. But
Yeah.
so it was just like, I'm glad that it was revealed, because I think it's so stupid when Spider-Man does it too, where you're just like, let me keep these big secrets, but still continue to like hang out with the people I care about and not give them a heads up. Like, it's so dangerous. I'd rather be informed so I can properly prepare myself if I
I know
need to.
that was always my number one complaint about the Harry Dresden books, is all the secrets he keeps from the people around him. I'm like,
I'm-
he's like, it protects people for me to keep secrets. Yeah, I saw that. And it just came in here to say EDF with like 10,000 exclamation points. But yeah, like he always like justifies it because it'll keep them safer, and then they get endangered, and then some of them die. And I'm like, you would think after the third person dies, you would realize that this is not working.
Yeah. So you either need to hide and stop like hanging out with anyone ever or getting close to anyone, which is one way to do it, or the people that you're going to be associating with should know your a secret that constantly puts them into danger. So
I noticed
yeah.
that our chat stopped updating.
Oh, did it? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I just
I've
noticed
lost.
that.
So I didn't realize it was way
Let me
back with
refresh
evening.
it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
British Bake Off. When he's asking if we watch British Bake Off, I am
No.
behind, but I love it. What I love about, I mean, I love baking shows, and what I love about the British Bake Off for like a reality show is that it's not about the drama. Like they have like the dramatic music, but they're not like fighting against each other. Like, they're so helpful as contestants with one another though too, that if someone's struggling and they're finished with theirs, like they will help out other people. Like, it's not about like being competitive. They're just trying to make the best product that they can and are willing to help out others. So it's so sweet and heartwarming.
I was literally sitting there, and like Netflix's like screensaver was popping up, and I'm sitting there with my friends, and they're not looking at the screen, and I'm just sitting there, and the Great British Bake Off TV show pops up, and I'm like, I don't really want to watch a bunch of British people baking, and like
It's so relaxing and unnerving.
and my friends started laughing, and then it had changed by the time they looked up, and they're like, was that about the Great British Bake Off? And I was like, yeah, it was.
No, it's so good. I mean, if you like baking or just something, yeah, like, because you get nervous because you're like, is this gonna fall apart? Like, are they gonna get it done in time? But it's not about like, yeah, look what Denise did to me and blah. Like, it's a lot nicer.
I used to watch on the Food Network the Tulsa wedding cake competition every year.
Ooh, I will.
The-
Nailed it
the-
is great too.
The Tulsa State Fair has a wedding cake competition, and some of the artistry of it is just amazing. Some of the cakes are fucking terrible, like total amateur hour shit coming into that competition. Some of them are just amazing, but then one year it was clearly like Food Network said, give it to that one. Give it to that person, or someone had decided who was going to be the winner before they.
That's happened in Bake Off too. I feel it too, and I'm like, you should not have won this. That's happened a few times. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it kind of soured me, and I didn't ever really want to watch it again. I was like, you ruined it.
Sour or a baking show. Yeah, I love, because that's why I like baking, because I like art and food. So then it's always been nice to like, oh, I get to like decorate, and then it'll take me, I'll spend like 12 hours making whatever, like decorating cookies or something though too. Like I'm very careful. I wanted to mention Mo had said, "Hey, I read the Harry Justin books." I was thinking about that, Mo, when Alex brought it up. I remember reading Justin Files because I saw it in the background when we were like video chatting once, and
I
so
think I
thought of
read
you.
it as far as the latest short stories, the Bigfoot short
I've
stories.
never read any of them. I was surprised when I learned at some point that they were like like he's a wizard, like a magical stuff.
It's urban fantasy. He's
which
a
sounds
wizard for hire
interesting.
in
Like
Chicago.
I'm actually really intrigued by, and I still haven't read them, but like, and maybe they're trash, like, like whatever trash books, but I probably still would like it because I like that plot idea.
They're fun. He makes some mistakes in the early books that no editor caught. That like he says the wrong address for Sherlock Holmes's home. It was very weird. Like it's totally wrong. And then like some woman dies in like the first book by the hands of this one vampire, and it kicks off this like thing where this vampire blames Harry for years. And like, but in one of the later books, the victim has a different name, and it took me so long to realize that they were talking about the woman who died in the first book because of the fact that she had a different name. And it was like Rachel to Pauline or Pauline to Rachel. Like they fucked that up. So like the first couple of books have some errors to them, but once he hits his stride, he those books are really fun, very well written.
Okay.
Very interesting mysteries. And Harry is a flawed character.
Good. All right. And so not like DC superheroes.
No.
Curious, G-Man. I don't even, it sounds delicious and I had to look it up, but is it pronounced Gillette or is it
Gillette?
Gullet? And I saw
Gullet.
it's French, but I don't know how, it is. So I'm not sure the pronunciation.
I've made one before.
Really?
I called it a Gillette.
Oh, okay. They look delicious. We'll get into She-Hulk in just a sec, but I just want to share this. We're going to talk about animal psychology and food all the time. That's pretty.
Yes. Apparently, Winky, I forgot about that. Winky Winky Woo bought a copy of my book on Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They're good, by the way. They're just like pie, only you don't have to have as much filling.
Flat cake is a term used in French in various types of flat, crusty cakes. In the case. All right. Well, G-Man, can you mail some of you have my address? Can you freeze it? So Gillette, is it pie? Yeah, it seems like it's some sort of like pie cake thing.
So it's not like walled like a pie is, but like so it's pastry dough like for pie, and you like bake it. I baked mine on like a parchment paper and a cookie sheet essentially, and like so you roll it out and everything, and then you put the filling in there. It's less filling because it's not walled, so it's less filling, and then you like fold over the edges, and like you can brush it with like an egg wash and cover it in sugar and everything, and it's pretty good.
It sounds okay. I don't know if I'm ever gonna make it, but I want one. What is the filling though? Winky asks. It can be filled with different things. G-Man's going to do apple, walnut, right? So I think you can do whatever you want. I guess the Europeans, their pies are a lot of time meat and stuff, right? So
you could make a meat one. I wouldn't probably I would probably do berry at this point.
Yeah.
And I would made mine gluten free, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I really want some dessert now. All right, She-Hulk. Tell me why you hate She-Hulk.
Well,
Savory
okay, so
too, with goat cheese, and we have goat milk. My cousin just got goats, and so we got some goat milk. We traded her eggs. She gave us vegetables. Yeah, we're bartering over here.
So let's go back to
She-Hulk.
An entertainment podcast.
I find this very entertaining to talk about.
Yes,
I am.
So yeah. So Jen in the comic books mostly has always been thankful for her change, for her
really
Hulk personality. she's always like, Bruce has felt guilty about it, and she has told him, no, this was a gift. You don't have to apologize for this. Don't apologize for it. And she's always embraced it like beautifully. So that first episode where she's all like, I don't want to be a superhero. This is ruining my life. I'm like, and she's such a bitch to Bruce in that first episode where she's going on about how he has no idea how hard it is to be a woman. And I'm like, dude had an abusive childhood.
Oh,
And
I don't even know his. Yeah.
And
Okay.
and like at one point, this is
But was he a woman?
No. See, that's the thing. It's like they're saying that, oh, it's so much harder to be a woman. It's like, no, it's not. And then like at one point, he literally tried to kill himself in the MCU. He talks about that. He put a bullet in his brain. He tried to eat a bullet and he spat it out. He can't die. His life is awful. So for her to act like her life is so much worse, it's like, you fucking child. And especially like he had to be the Hulk when no one like cared, you know, like, or knew about superheroes all that much. So like the reaction was very negative to the Hulk. And now everyone's like, it's normalized, so she can lead a normal life for the most part. Mm-hmm. So I'm sort of like, you were being a whiny little bitch and you were spitting in all of Bruce's adversary, you're saying is not actually hard. And it's like, I hated that. But then also on top of that, I don't like the CGI. And I'll tell you why. It's mostly the walking shots. When she's walking, it doesn't look like her head is attached to her body, because they have the camera up higher because She-Hulk is so much taller than Jen normally is. And they probably have someone standing in as her walking. But then they're like mocapping her face and just slamming that on to the walking shot. And it doesn't look like it matches. So it's like really uncanny valley. It's like it's not attached. It's freaking me out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm for the CG, everyone was upset with it too. And I'm okay with the cartooniness because I'm like, oh, the Hulk has always looked pretty cartoony to me. But some of the, like, even when she was like carrying the water and stuff too, I'm like, this, it was so fake. Like the water looked so fake and I don't know, it was too jarring because it was something like, it didn't even look CG. It kind of looked like, I don't know, like a 2D animation a bit or something though, too, the way it was like it was flat on it. And I think what it probably was that they weren't weighted enough, though. Like the way that she was animated was that like, oh, she's carrying these things, but it just didn't, like the water and stuff didn't look like, even though she's strong, it just still like I don't know, the way it was done.
I don't think it was like moving in the
probably not
gallons, that the 5-gallon things that like, I mean, water, you move the 5-gallon jug, it's gonna move in it. Like I don't know. It seemed really like stationary, you know, like perfectly unit. And I don't know. Like I see what you mean about that moment. It's not, there's something off about it.
So and then I understand all the points that you're making. I think like I agree with the criticisms, but despite that, I still enjoyed the show because I think it's silly, like it's comedic. So I let and again, like my expectation, or like my bar gets lower, higher, whatever it is, where I'm less critical of stuff when I'm like, oh, this is being silly with certain things. But I
probably like the silliness, the fun of it and everything, even the breaking in the fourth wall, because that's in the comic books with her. I wouldn't have minded any of that. I would have been like, yes, that's exactly what you should have been doing, if in that first episode she wasn't so mean to Bruce. That was the part that really put me off on her.
Since I didn't have any, I had no idea what like she's like in the comics. I didn't know that's so. If I had known, I think I would be just as bothered as you with it. But since I like, oh, I was fine with it. I'm like, okay, she's just like kind of, you know, again, similar to Ms. Marvel. I'm like, you're sarcastic and sassy, and I like this personality because it is fun, but I understand that like, oh, if this is very drastically different to how she was in the comics, at least for that. Let me think of how I want to say it did have like women are great and awesome and men suck, especially when she's like specifically saying like, what's it like to be a woman? I hold in my anger all the time. I can vote. And so like, and everyone was making fun of that part and
Yeah, because it was bad.
and it was very, very bad. But I was also kind of okay with because I knew this show is not about her becoming a hero. It's called She-Hulk Attorney at Law. It's about her doing attorney stuff and also having these superpowers. So I was okay with the idea that like, oh, we're gonna do this part quickly as far as you like learn understanding how you have powers. So I thought they did it comically as far as like trying to step out of like, oh, the women power kind of thing. And it was more about like doing this funny was how like, oh, Hulk struggled through that. And like, actually, it's really easy for me. I don't know what your problem is. I think that joke can be funny, but I guess if you're relating it to like the struggle, like if you're gonna sympathize with Hulk more about everything he went through, I can see what, but to me it was just kind of like, oh yeah, like they're playing off like just to be able to get past this quickly. I think that is a funny joke to just be like, don't know why you struggled so much, this is easy, because the point of her isn't her going through the same struggles as him. Hers is about we're doing this attorney show. So I was okay with that, but I do understand that like, oh, they really made light of all the struggles that he went with. And it can be kind of funny when you're like, oh, I'm gonna like, you know, this is intentional and joke, but I can also see like, man, you're really poor Hulk after everything that you went through. But I can also laugh at the Schadenfreude kind of thing, I guess.
I don't know. It feels really, they're basically, I don't think they're joking when they have her say something like, you have no idea what it's like to struggle as I struggled. I feel like they're being like serious, and that's the part that pisses me off, because it's like, not only was he abused, but he watched his dad kill his mother, and that's just in the comic books, and that's in like the first Hulk movie by Ang Lee. They actually did show that. But then like also in the MCU, he was chased by the military for years. He couldn't have any friends. He was always terrified of what he would do to people. He literally like left Earth for years. Like, it's so mean to say that, even to MCU Hulk. It's like, you do not come off as a really good person here. And it's like, for the first episode of a show, like, and like, even if you didn't know Jen, if this was some other asshole, not Jen, who was responding to Hulk this way, I'd be like, you're a jerk. Like, you literally said this to Hulk, who's had one of the hardest lives ever. Like, you prick. Like,
so I mean, I haven't seen the Hulk movies actually, and then so just only what he's been in the Avengers and everything else. But I think I was okay because I didn't know all his like childhood backstory and all of those things. But I think what still makes it okay for me is that he's saying it like he's talking about how like, oh yeah, you know, you just have to like spend 15 years doing this, and then but even him kind of like talking about like, I struggled, like I had I had to spend time off planet and had so like the way he's delivering it was funny, and like, and it seems like he's not full of that pain within the scenes though, that so like her things don't come off as mean to me, just because like he's not receptive in like a like hurt way of like, but having the context that you do with all that, like I still understand it, but I think because like I haven't seen those or really know about it, and he was like pretty chill about how he was just kind of like, yeah, like your life is just gonna suck for 50, and how so his reaction wasn't too there wasn't like gravitas as much to how like he was describing his struggles. That's why it didn't come out as like terrible to me, I guess.
Well, I actually had kind of a problem with how they had Hulk behave in the first episode too, because there were a couple of points where she's just going off on like a rant and he's just quiet the whole time and just lets her just have her say. And it's like really like stupid. Like, no, I'm sorry, but I don't think that most people have that kind of relationship where one person just goes off the whole time. Like, they like without any rebuttal, like ever. Like he literally just like nods his head and takes it. Like it feels weird. It felt like strange to me. Like, and which is why, like, I feel like that's one of the reasons why it comes to an actual physical fight between them later on in the first
he's
episode.
Like holding.
He's had enough at this point.
Which, but like, I guess that makes sense too. Like she has been a jerk the whole time, though. Like, and so he's upset that like she's not listening to what he's saying and going through. So I get like maybe that was the point of of their behavior and ending up physically fighting. But yeah, I get what you're saying, and I don't think I had considered like the depth for like his struggles because I didn't know. But and I think Winky had said that like Hulk had watched his father kill his mother, and like I don't know anything about him. Oh, thank you for the eyeshadow compliment.
I don't think she came off as very likable in that first episode, which is shitty because she is a likable person. Jen is a very likable person in the comic books. So it's like, why did you do this? Like, she comes off as whiny, honestly. And there was this one point when he says that your blood actually helped me heal my arm completely. And she goes, because I'm better. And I was like, what kind of psycho says that, like, and means it? And like, she doesn't laugh after she says it or anything.
I thought she was trying to make a joke of that too. Because
I did not feel like that came off as a joke. I felt like that came off as a psycho.
Okay. See, I saw it as more of a joke. She was just kind of like, oh, because I'm better than you. Because like that's, I don't know, like that's a response that I would say too. It's like, oh yeah,
also,
like my heels.
Like, how, like if she both. Her reaction to becoming Hulk in that first episode is very uneven. Like, sometimes she is joking about it. Sometimes she's actually like literally like my life is over kind of attitude. And like sometimes that flip happens so quickly that I'm getting whiplash. Like honestly, she had just like woken up and like was coming to terms with the idea that she was become a Hulk when she says that line about because I'm better. So it makes it sound like she's already accepted the fact that she's Hulk or that she's okay with it. But then like not that long later, she's all like, oh, this is ruining my life. And I'm like, can you pick a lane, honey? Like,
in her defense, she is a woman. So it's going to be like really emotional roller coaster there. And yeah.
This is PMS period for men. I don't know.
Right, yeah. So she's going to be struggling through all that. I do think that I didn't super like Bruce trying to make her feel obligated to be a superhero. I thought that was a weird thing. Like just because you have superpowers, you shouldn't feel obligated to go around. It's not your responsibility to save the world just because you can. Like yeah, that's good that if you want to do that though, but like I don't like that idea that like, oh, that now like you have to do this, that like you must do this just because you have the ability to. I'm like, well, that's not fair. Like who are we to say that like what you should be doing now or what like your obligations are?
Because it feels kind of, I don't like that idea either. Like honestly, there was this thing where this woman, she was a pianist, a concerto pianist, like very, very successful, but she didn't enjoy it. And it's like, why are you still doing it then?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care that you have the capability. Like if you're fucking miserable.
A girl in my high school, she was a year older, and she had she was in chorus, like beautiful singing voice, like sounded like Kelly Clarkson. And just like, but like could really belt it out. And I was always envied that she had that talent. And she just wanted to be a firefighter when she grew up. And that was her goal. I'm like, what? Why would you just waste all this singing talent? But yeah, you know, like you do Do what you
I know
need to
someone
not.
said that I was wasting my talent as a possible surgeon because I had such fine control
Steady
in
hands.
when I would autopsy things in science class and everything, and I was like, I'm not interested. He's
Yeah.
like, what? How can you not be? You're so good
Just
at
because
it,
you're
though.
good at it doesn't mean you
And,
like it.
And I'm like, well, first of all, like, I didn't know this at the time, but I had an anxiety disorder. I have an anxiety disorder.
Mhm.
Is that necessarily the person you want performing surgery on
Yeah.
you?
Like, oh boy.
Like, I'm cutting on a dead animal. I can do it very well, okay? But like, I'm not going to be the person that
No,
you know
you're not
performs your open
operating on
heart
a
surgery.
dead animal.
Yeah. So, but I was never interested. It was never an interest to me. Like, I'm very good at math. I'm very good at science, but I never went into those fields on purpose.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Carter the other night, like a morality thing of just like he was talking about like an Ayn Rand. I won't get into too much, but ultimately it was kind of like you're not obligated. Like the people will disagree with ideas of like, oh, like that you should help other people or not at all. That like, and I was saying that yeah, like I think I would feel like I'm not feeling as guilty as like, oh, I'm not helping someone across the world, but like when you're there and it's someone like within your own area, like if I see someone struggling in real life, like I feel obligated to help them, whether or not like morally like I should or not. But like that is just like the reaction that I have. That like, oh, like you're in need, and I may, and it depends though too, like how much in you, like are you bleeding on the side of the road or something, like, or are you just I don't know, like struggling to open your door or whatever, like it may or may not like
What's the level of need here?
yeah, like as far as like, oh, you can handle like you can get your door open, you're just like fumbling with your keys, like, oh, you're bleeding out, I need to like put pressure on or something though too. I'm like, if I walk by, like, yeah, I would feel bad about not helping
Yeah.
someone, whether or not, but yeah, it's just kind of, but then it's like I don't, but like there you're not obligated to save the world though, just because like you have
No.
some sort of power. I did
Well,
like
that was something that happened, like a car accident happened in front of me and this van spun out, almost came right at me. And like I was walking and they stopped. And after everything was like calm, I like went and knocked on their window and asked them if they were okay. I'm not obligated to do that. I can't do anything. But I was
Right.
gonna like I was like, are you
Yeah,
okay?
just kind of
Yeah. And,
I think
and
there's
then they were like, yeah, and then I went to work.
there's a difference. I think there's like like a moral obligation or something, or just because it's like, oh, maybe it's not immoral, but you can still be like a jerk if you don't do something where it's just like, okay, like you're not a bad, I'm gonna say a terrible person for like not doing something or doing,
Well, a
but
good example of that is like in the first episode, she's going to court to do, you know, a case and everything, and then superpower things happen in the room she's in, and it's decided that it like I wish she would have just decided to do it herself instead of her paralegal telling her she needed to,
Mhm.
because I feel like she should have just like
And
it should have been her choice, and it should, and I felt like, because yeah, she did save the jury from being hit by a big desk,
mhm.
and like, and that was good, but I definitely think like she should have been the one
You're just
to
gonna wait
just
on this and not, I think there's I think it would be might be fine if it were more like you should do something and she'd be like, "Oh yeah," like if she just forgot that she
got,
needed to,
yeah,
rather than like, "Oh, should I do it right now though?" Like but more of just like, "Oh, I can do this." And so then and you
yeah,
change
but
rather
she
than like
did actually was all like, really, I should do it, like
right. Yeah, like, "Are you sure right now in front of everyone?" Like, "Yeah, people are gonna die. Do something." Like,
yeah. Like if
I
it's literally in your face, you should probably do something as someone who has superpowers. But you don't have to go searching for it. I agree
right.
with that.
Yeah, and so and this is I think where Carter was, at least for the Ayn Rand side of things, would like argue where it's like you still don't have to do something like the if they're there. They're like it's not your responsibility. But I was thinking about how under the law, and I didn't bring this up to him, how isn't there like neglect as far as like if you let someone die when you could have, like, I think you can get charged for something though.
There are some good
Um,
Samaritan laws, like you have to help someone.
Yeah.
In,
Which I'm not
but
saying like
that's-
laws are always good, you know, like there are bad laws out there, but I was just trying to
Yeah.
remember like if there are technical things about that.
Yeah, there are definitely jurisdictions that have laws that require you to get involved. And the thing is, though, is that, like, for example, I told that story earlier tonight about those two guys fighting. What am I going to do if one of them
Mhm.
gets the other guy on the ground? Besides
Right.
call the police, what am I really going to be able to do there? Unless I'm armed with a firearm. And then I'm taking on a huge risk
Mhm.
over whether or not I have any right to, by law, use it. So or even take it out. So to me, I'm sort of like, you can't expect like a person in a wheelchair to intervene, but beyond call the police. Like if your legitimate least expectation is that people call the police or call 911, fine, that's reasonable. If they don't have a phone on them, there's not much they can do about it. I know you expect everybody to have a phone, but that's not actually how the world works. So to me, I'm sort of like, there's this like, what are they capable of? If they're not capable of actually helping the situation, then they probably should not be getting involved.
It might make it worse.
Yeah.
The car thing that it reminded me, was this yesterday? Yeah, I had so I was looking into getting life insurance because I've never had life insurance before, and then they needed to do like a checkup, and they were like, we can send some, you can go to a place yourself, or you can send like a nurse to you. And I was like, where are the locations? They're like an hour or more away from me. Like, send someone here because it was free. So she comes along. She's cool. I think we were around the same age. And I mentioned this, I think, in the Discord too, where I'm like, I don't know what it is, but people really just open up to me like immediately. That like I learned a lot about her personal life. Like she stayed for an hour and a half because we were just talking about a bunch of different things, but I learned a lot about her personal life. And it happens to me all the time where I'm just like, I've only known you for like 5 minutes and you've told me like your deepest secrets or something. Not that I'm against it. I just think it's funny every time. I'm like, I'm not sure what it is, but like it just happens. But one of the things that she mentioned was how the day before she got run off the road. And I saw a video because she had a dash cam. So she showed it to me of how like she got run off the road by like an 18-wheeler that was like trying to signal to turn, but like she was there in that lane. Oh, it was trying to get into her lane. And it just started going and she was honking at it. And then so she had to like drive off to the side there. And then it was like, it went back in the other lane to drive around another truck. Like, what are you even doing? So,
That's
also,
I love those dash cam footages because I'm always like, what is this asshole doing? And I don't even drive. I'm freaking out.
Yeah. So I was like scared watching it. And she also told me about this Etsy store that they'll take your cremated animals and make them into polyhedral dice somehow.
What?
Yeah. I'm intrigued. So I forget that I wrote them down, whatever the names were, but I was like,
Oh my God.
check out these different dice people now. Yeah, we were talking about Pokemon and other things. She saw my dice collection because I have like 100 sets of dice and
Oh my
curio
gosh.
and things though. So yeah, and she also, had to take my urine sample. So we got intimate.
We got into this. Oh my God.
Took my blood pressure. Yeah. We tested for HIV. It was a good time.
Oh
nice
my
friend.
gosh.
But anyway, with She-Hulk, I'll say that like there were a lot of like woke things. I had to kind of separate. That's why I think some of it would have been fine if it were for comedic purposes and less about like woman preachiness. I think her just being like, oh, I'm good at these things. I don't know what your problem is. If it wasn't about like, I'm a woman and good at this, which they kind of kept either implied or directly said. And it was just like, this is a comedic thing, like writing that we're doing just to make it fun and to skip past this so we can move on to the actual plot of the show. It would have been fine, but because they interlaced it with woke stuff and feminism, it made it worse. But there was a part where she talked about like she gets hired because she gets fired from being a lawyer because of all the She-Hulk stuff, and then she gets hired by the other firm who wants her to be She-Hulk as the lawyer. And then like she says, is this the only reason I got the job? And you're like, I'm qualified, but now everyone will only think this is the reason. Kind of I thought this was like a kind of anti-woke thing for her to say, though, because I'm like, yeah, I've felt that way. I'm like, am I being hired because I'm a minority, like because I'm a female Asian? So I thought that was just like, oh, that's interesting.
I don't think they realize that they're being anti-woke.
I don't
with
think
that.
they did. No, but I thought that, like, that is a good thing for you to start, to kind of bring up, though, because I'm like, oh yeah, like I relate to that. Oh my gosh, Lemon Hope is freaking out right now. Or not freaking out. That's just like I've said before. Like how the other geese might honk, 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 and then she just goes, "I'm part of this."
She's just screaming.
Crazy.
My favorite part of the whole show, honestly, is the credits, and it's not because that means the episode is over, although that might have something to do with it. But really, it's the courtroom drawing style. I think is so cool. I think those are amazing credits.
Yeah, I think they're fun. There was one song that I really liked too. I had to look it up. I don't remember what it was now. I saved it on YouTube. But yes, I like some of them. I like the artwork and then some of the music. So what I think in this the show kind of reminded me of Thor, just because it was like, here's this, we're less about being a superhero and focused on like, here's another plot and like in comedy in it. And I like the concept in that, like, you get to just kind of see, here's all of the like powered people and fantasy stuff on a small scale, like on a local scale. So then you get to come from, and I think she was right in like the breaking the fourth wall part about Wong, where it was just like, oh yeah, like you have like a Twitter shield when you have Wong on, because like he's on here, so like you get a little bit of a buffer because everyone loves Wong. Like I do love Wong, and I thought with him and then that girl, what was her name? Whatever, the Madison with a Y, two N's and a Y, but not what you think. I thought like that was just such a weird friendship to develop, and I really liked it. So I liked seeing like, oh, here's just some small time things from like, especially like character, like, well, Wong is like saving the world or whatever, and he's the sorcerer supreme, but then now you're just like, you keep cutting back to him watching TV, and then he's drunk
watching
girl,
The Sopranos. He's watching The Sopranos. First time.
Yeah, and then the drunk Madison like spoils it for. So then they just have like eating popcorn and stuff later on. So I like seeing. I always like that the end of the Avengers where they went to go eat. What was it? What did they eat? Shawarma. Yeah. And so like when they're just like, I love seeing like, here's like these big powerful people, and then you're just like, oh, what are you doing? Like going grocery shopping or something like that, like just kind of making comedy out of that. But so I like the concept of this show because you get to see like what's going on. Like even if it weren't She-Hulk, if it was like just like, here's this fantasy attorney's office, and that you're having to like, oh, here are these two, like a gnome and a dwarf are fighting because of the whatever territory. Like I just like that fantasy concept of them in law.
I think the first episode is the worst episode so far, and that the rest of the show is doing a much better job, honestly.
I agree. Yep. Yes.
Like, because it's feeling more like Jen in those other episodes, honestly. And the fun quality of it is more like Jen is supposed to be. It's okay. Just I like someone asked, did you enjoy the twerking? No, I'm not a huge fan of twerking in general. But
was that the scene that she's in with what's her face?
The Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, I had no idea who that was. I had to look her up.
The whole court cases around superpowered beings and beings from other planet, I love it. I love that concept. I think it's really funny and interesting. I think that's like probably one of the best parts about it. And I finally like the episode that came out today, honestly. They finally put her in like kind of a pinup dress. Finally.
I haven't watched today's one yet. Okay, I forgot.
Yeah, it's the wedding episode. But like there's this thing about She-Hulk has always been kind of like super sexualized pinup girl type. So and like they finally like put her in a pinup dress, and I was like, I know it probably took you a while to like rationalize how she got clothing that fit her in the first place.
Yeah.
So but I was glad that finally happened. I don't like the actress who plays her. Unfortunately, I've not enjoyed her performance. I like, but I've always liked the She-Hulk concept of this fun, just kind of bubbly, powerhouse of a woman kind of story. But I don't think they didn't introduce it well in that first episode, and I don't like the casting.
I think I'm okay with Jen. Yeah, I think I'm okay with her casting, but I can see why you or why one might not like it. I think I can see why you don't like it. But I think I'm okay with it. As far as everyone else,
to me, the weird thing about her hair is the hair throws me off.
That it changes, or just how?
Yeah, well, so her hair looks like as
She-Hulk,
Jen, her hair looks exactly the same as it does as She-Hulk, only it's not dark green, and it's the same length for her proportions. So like so technically it grows when she's She-Hulk to match her proportions, but it looks exactly the same pretty much.
Well, her hair, She-Hulk, gets like looser, like it's wavy and pretty, and hers as human is like super curly.
But in the comic books,
it's supposed to stay the same.
It's the only thing that changes is that it turns dark green. Like it is absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, wavy long hair is what she already had.
Okay, yeah. I don't understand why it changes when she becomes She-Hulk. I do kind of like that they make her struggle as far as finding guys, though, like where she's not like not Ms. Marvel with 3 boys vying after her, where they're kind of like, oh, like the one guy's super into her She-Hulk, and when he sees her human form, he's like, I'm leaving. So I think because I like that as like self-deprecating kind of humor, though, too, where just like, oh yeah, like I'm not like whatever issue. But then they play off like usually, oh, it's the men who suck. Like, no, like make it where like for some reason you're just kind of like schlumpy and people don't really like it. Yeah, like that hair is not that great, so like it makes sense too, but then the She-Hulk, you've got this beautiful hair, but I also don't understand why that changes. That seems weird to me that it changes. You should just always have that like beautiful wavy hair.
Yeah, like it did, like it it was already gorgeous. Like her hair was already supposed to be gorgeous, so I'm sort of like like it bothers me.
I am bothered by her hair as a human, and so I will say that like I think I like her performance okay so far. I am bothered by her hair, and I want to change it. Winky he wants me to play the keytar, and he wants you to change your background. He says it looks like bacteria and freaks him out. Winky, they're bubbles. They look like bubbles, and I am not going to ask her to change it. I like the background. I don't know. I think, do you have like some sort of germophobia? Because I think it's because it's like purple and it matches like the background, which is just the background that I use for my computer, outer space stuff. So it's I don't know why he's like, maybe it's the movement. Maybe if it was just like a still bubble screen, he'd be more okay. It's COVID backgrounds. Doesn't know it's bacteria. I don't know bacteria that looks.
I haven't seen this one in a while.
You haven't? No, I like the other one more because it's purple and blues. But anything for Winky. Winky gets whatever he wants. Ooh.
I think those are my only 3. Those are your options. Oh no, wait, actually there is this one too.
Oh yeah. And that one, do you use that one for 451?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay. No, I like the bubbles one. Fire again. Okay, was there anything else about She-Hulk? I think that was all. I do love Wong. I actually just want a spin-off of Wong and Madison, because I want to see Wong have to go like fight thing and like like save the world or wherever, and Madison's just his sidekick, where she's just constantly wasted. And like when she comes onto the scene too, like that that hack magician like sends her to the realm, and like, and she appears with while watching The Sopranos, and she's just holding a beating heart, and then she's like, "What happened to all the goblins? Are you the Goblin King?" And then like, did he send you here? Like, no, she had to go to like one dimension, then a talking goat demon had like sent her to like send her back, and she had to fight. Like, I just thought that was really funny. And just I really want to see a spin-off of those two, because I think that's a hilarious dynamic. But outside of that, I mean, I'm gonna continue watching She-Hulk. I think I haven't seen today's episode, but I will. I guess we can wrap up by ranking everything.
Yeah.
What do we have? Little I don't even know what kind of ranking system we want to do for this. I don't know. Do you have ideas? We can do
Oh, did we want to look at the bad tweets? Did we have the bad tweets or?
of She-Hulk?
No. Like worst tweets of the week.
Oh
or
yeah.
something.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Okay. So until I can think of like more creative creating systems, I'm just gonna say Little Mermaid. I'm gonna give an I'm too nice to. I'm gonna still say an E out of A to F. What else? We had Black Adam. Can I just not have my grade? I'm gonna leave it as an ungraded. I'll give it a unicorn sticker.
I am cautiously optimistic about Black Adam. Totally uninterested in the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I have no. I mean, I just am apathetic toward Black Adam. Like, okay, like that might be a movie. Like the trailer is just kind of like whatever. So that's why like I just don't super care of grading it. She-Hulk, I'll give. Oh, I like the sticker thing. Okay, I would give Little Mermaid a poo sticker. I'll do unicorn sticker to Black Adam, and I'll give a. I don't know. I was gonna say rainbow, but rainbow is like I love rainbow, so that'd be like one of my highest ones, right? So I don't know. She-Hulk can get a what other images are there in the world? I will give a strawberry cake sticker for She-Hulk.
Oh god.
Those are my grades for these. All right. If you don't have grades, or if you do have grades, you can say other ones, or we can read these tweets.
I say I'll give Miss Marvel a mumbly peg mess. And
I forgot about Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, you gotta come up with a sticker.
Yeah,
a shiny bangle sticker. Yeah. And then for She-Hulk, it's a doctor's appointment. Maybe it's good.
like a gemstone sticker for Ms. Marvel, but not like a diamond, like a less like a topaz. Gemstone. Okay, so for these bad tweets of the week, this is like the previous week. We have a few of them. So here's one that's I didn't have an order for them, so I don't even know which one I have on screen now. But this one says September 11 was a terrorist attack. January 6 was a terrorist attack. So much terrorism.
All this like comparison between January 6th and
I know,
September 11th.
Like seriously, 3,000 people died in 9/11. And then in January 6th, there were a few people who died over the course of the following days or something.
Yeah, like one person died that day in violence, and it was Ashley Babbitt. So
yeah, and so it was by the it was by the police to the person, and right, something like that. But yeah. So all right, what's this one say?
You called William Shatner a cunt?
Who?
Wiki woo.
What? My best band was my favorite William Shatner. What? William Shatner is an adorable mean old man.
He retweeted me once, and I was so happy.
I saw him at C2E2, I think it was, at a panel. Like, yeah, when he was just like in Weird or What, where he rode in on a horse at the opening credits or something, though, and he's like
Oh, yeah.
85, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Oh, man?
He loves horses, by the
Yeah.
way.
All right, what do we have here? I don't want to hear from anyone who supported January 1/6 today. You people may as well have been flying the planes.
I can't even begin to imagine thinking like this.
Yeah, especially to bring January 6th up on 9/11. Like, this was on 9/11. though.
Unprovoked.
Like this is so I don't know. It's so retarded to bring
I
this up
know.
though. Like, I can't even laugh at this because it's just so and so many people bringing it up too. Like, why are you comparing January 6th? Like, this just lessens it. Like, and you know that it's not as big of a deal. Like, and you're trying to make it as big of a deal as 9/11 was. What's this one? Today we remember the 2009. Oh, right. I have to share this. This was so today we remember the 2,996 people who were killed on 9/11 and all those who lost their lives while serving our country in the forever wars that followed. Never forget. And picture the Twin Towers. This is posted at 12 p.m. on 9/11/2022. The following image that I have to share is from, and that was from Representative Pramila Jayapal. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's how I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Because I don't care enough. And then here's the one from the year prior on 9/11/2021, Representative Pramila Jayapal. Today we remember the 2,996 people who were killed on 9/11 and all those who lost their lives while serving our country in the forever wars that followed. Never forget, picture the Twin Towers. If this sounds familiar to you, it's because it's the exact same text and the same photo, same image.
And the thing is about it is that in both of these, the number she gives is 19 more than what most people would give.
The number of what? Oh, of the people who died. Oh, why?
Because she's counting the people who hijacked the planes.
Oh, well,
and she's not the only representative who did that, by the way.
So, yes, and all those who lost him. Wow. Why are we needing to remember them? I guess we do just kind of remember them as they happen, like, I guess technically, but not like fondly. Justifiably stupid. Thank you for the super chat. Says, not sure if you watched The Princess and the Frog, but which Alex has. She says she really enjoyed it.
I'm a big fan.
We need and I have to, but we need a live action version where everyone is Irish. Irish lack representation in the swamps. Gingers everywhere. I would never watch that movie.
That would be hilarious if what we did, we adapted something that was like all black people to all gingers, just as like a way of saying, haha, we're getting back. We're taking back the gingers.
What other things would be, what are all black things? Anything by Jordan Peele and Tyler Perry, I guess. I'm trying to, I can't think of anything except for the Wiz
Proud
right
Family
now,
TV show.
Proud Family. I guess any of the, who was Urkel in?
Family Matters.
Family Matters, yeah. Different Strokes, and you just have the little ginger boys.
That would be really funny.
What was I? Oh, I have one more image, I guess. Another tweet. Hang on. I was like, there's one more thing that I needed to do. And then I started trying to think of TV shows with black people.
Everybody Hates Chris.
I never actually watched that show. All right. This guy says, I think Americans significantly underestimate how much the ordinary British person hates Americans.
And my response and a lot of people's response to this was like, I think you significantly overestimate how much the average American thinks about how the British think
How much you
about
care
them.
about them, yeah.
And he's like, where did I say they cared? And it's like, if we're estimating over accurately how much they do or do not like us, that means we care enough to think about it.
Think about them. Yeah.
But honestly, most of us are not fucking thinking about it. It's such a weird thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah, right. What was it? It reminds me, I had some sort of insult to Motown before where he messaged something about, what was it? That he was just like, oh, he made a joke about like, oh, don't call me Shirley or whatever it was. Then I was like, I try not to call you at all. And
We got another super chat.
oh, again? Hang on a second. Winky, winky, woo, thank you. And he says, you are both slots. But I know that before that he put sluts. And I wonder, can super chats do they not allow the word slut in it?
Maybe not.
We are both slots. So you're either trying to say slut
Someone-
or sloths. And I
Yes.
am.
Someone test it. Do another super chat.
Yeah.
Try to
Yeah.
write
Send
slut.
us more money and try and write slut. Try to test out all the different naughty words that there are.
Try
They
calling
could-
us whores.
Yeah, whore. Cunt. What else are we? Yeah,
Cunts.
retarded. Something.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say rape in chat because I think it was in one of your game streams. I was trying to like say something. I was referencing something and it wouldn't let me. I would see it on my end, but when I did like a incognito window, it wasn't showing up, and it wasn't showing up in your OBS chat. So there were like 2 words, so I had to like really censor a lot. Oh, he says that
I
he
hate
did
that
try
shit.
Sluts is bad.
I can't stand that. Like, because I want people to be able to write whatever they want.
Mhm.
Like in my chat. Like the only thing I'm gonna get rid of is actual freaking bots spamming the chat.
Bots and physical threats. I won't. I don't think I like if they're like sincere. Like if it's so it's like context matters though too. Like intention.
Yeah.
Like if you're like actually like legitimately threatening, like no, we're not going to have that. But if you're like jokingly gonna stab me, that's okay.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like you can't, to me, because language is so subjective, like the idea that like cunt is much more acceptable language in
Bless you.
thank you. Other English speaking countries. God damn it. That I'm like I don't care. I don't care.
Right. Yeah. That like those words aren't as bad otherwise. So I think America can be a little too prudish in a lot of things. So that might be where like sometimes, because I'm not in the conservative side of things. So where like the woke side of certain things I might agree on like or not care about as much when it's just like I don't know, like because there's just I think people try to swing the pendulum too far sometimes when they're like really trying to like, no, we need to change this, like, oh, we need to go back here. And I think Carter's talked about this on different streams too, or off air. I don't know. We talk too much. He talks to me too much. But yeah, where I just think that like I don't want to go too far back where I'm like, we don't need to be like prudish and too conservative. And I know that like that's difficult for some different religious people, so I understand why they might not, but I disagree. But same reason why I think I might disagree on certain things on the extreme side of on the other end. But I like that Mo was upset and he hey, he's Jewish and he's saying Jesus already. The earth will defend itself.
He really wants you to
really
play with him.
His ears are burning. Okay, fine. We can end the stream and then we'll play some EDF.
I feel done and I'm starting to sneeze apparently.
Oh, I noticed that. Okay, so again, reminder of book club, October 2nd, 12 p.m. Eastern. Email me, speak at or Beverly at unsafespace.com. If you want to join, please join. And October 30th will be the following one. I'm not going to say the names. We've got this Sunday, We're gonna have a true crime, wrongful conviction chat about Adnan Syed being released. So come join us for that. We'll see if I will probably just stream it on here still too, but really trying to push like Patreon and Rumble and Odyssey, all these alternative platforms. And anything else? Oh, and then following Friday, we're gonna start the new show TBD on the name, and but Josh Slocum will be there 5 p.m. Eastern,
2 p.m. Pacific.
p.m. Pacific. And that'll be Alex, Juliet, and me again as well for both those, this Sunday and the next Friday. And
Yes.
so plus side is Carter's not involved in these things, so enough of him. I like Winky Winky Booth. They have great eyeshadow. Join her stream, you cucks. Cucks is a great word that is not used enough in American jargon. He's not like, Mo saying that because I said that like he was the one of the people I was thinking of because they're the same age, Adnan Syed and Mo. Because I'm just thinking about like, look at your life that you've had this whole time, like, you know, whatever productive life you might have had. But then Adnan, he didn't even get that chance, and Mo had that chance and ruined it. So
Save it for this.
yeah, I'll make fun of Mo later. It's fine. Okay, well, thank you all for watching. I need to, Winky, fine. Alex, you don't have to stay for this, but for Winky, post credits, I'll whip out the keytar real quick.
Well, don't you need to do that? Like, if people stay,
people stay. I don't know what I'm gonna. You can either get your name on screen next week, or if you have ideas for something for me to do, so I don't have to be creative for it. If you stick around post credits and you have ideas for what you want from me, I'm willing to sell myself for something. I don't know.
That sounds a little whorish.
I know. Well, we're slots, so
Yeah.
the goal is to do that. I want money for it, though. I don't want to just give it away without money. So pay me. All right, let me find the end credits. But thank you guys for watching. Have a good night. Hopefully, we will see you Sunday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Be as excited as we are about this for a man who is most likely innocent of a crime and is finally free, like the first time in his adult life out in the world. So I'm super happy for him. But thank you guys. Have a great night. And it's Thursday. Enjoy football or whatever, if that's still going on. And I'm gonna go check on my geese and ducks. So, after the keytar thing. Goodbye.
Thanks for sticking around until the end. If you're new to Unsafe Space, check out our deep content library that includes discussions with everyone from James Lindsay to Brett Weinstein. And please consider helping to fund our work by visiting unsafespace.com/donate. You can find us on a variety of social media platforms, and you can find a community of like-minded individuals on our Unsafe Space Discord server, which is open to financial supporters at any level. We hope to see you there.
Warning. This is an unsafe space. Dangerous ideas have been detected. The content of this production is known by the state of California to cause unregulated ideation that may be harmful to bureaucrats. Association with the following individuals or tacos is strictly prohibited. Apropos of nothing, I was just wondering, how would you feel about another pandemic? Your president is in full control of his mental faculties. If you think about it, no one should be allowed to express opinions. But don't. Think about it, I mean. That's not your job. Thinking has been scientifically proven to be less efficient than compliance. Science, scientific, and scientifically are registered trademarks of the World Economic Forum. Unauthorized use is prohibited. Computer voice courtesy. Never mind, that last line is fake news. Please disregard it and return to your safe space immediately. There will be cake.
I don't even know what to play. I'm just trying to see if it's even working. But I was just playing Part of Your World, I think, on the piano because I forgot I have this like Disney thing, and I was playing that. But the keytar doesn't really let you do like chords, so you have to only do like one note at a time. So I can't even think of anything. Again, I just know classical music, and you can only do one hand. The speaker's sounding weird too. I don't know. What other tones does this do? Special tone? Oh. It's been so long since I played this. This is a pretty. What is this? It's just a violin. This is a fake violin sound, but it does sound pretty. Huh. I don't know. Is that even coming through?
It is.
Okay. This is hard to play. I'm going to hold it like a cello and play it, I guess. I can't think of anything right now. What music do I know? I have got Queen over there. I think that I was playing Bohemian Rhapsody before, but I can't do that with like one hand and because again the guitar. Oh, it does. Just on violin sound. Huh. Oh, that's bass. So this baby speaker is just so like squeaky. This is a trumpet sound. Oh, these are like not realistic sounds. Is this a trumpet? No, this is supposed to be brass polysynth. Okay, this is a trumpet. This is totally what a trumpet sounds like. I wish I remembered any sort of music. That's literally the only thing I remember right now. What can you tell me something?
Me? Everyone's asking for Queen, actually.
Oh, Queen? I need the. I can't remember the rest of it. That's what I need to do. I need to not look at the keys because then I remember it. If I'm staring at it, then I can't remember.
No, that was Bohemian Rhapsody. I
That
totally
was.
didn't recognize it.
Yeah. I don't understand why this is just like. Okay, I'm gonna try that. Like I said, it doesn't do chords well, so it's only doing like one at a time. I have to do it like separately.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Next time, if I need to like actually practice this on the keytar because it's easier when you have like two hands and it's sitting down.
Yeah.
Like holding. I love the keytar. I just don't practice it enough though, or any instruments. I've got other
You had a
instruments
lot
too.
of people stick around for after the credits, by the way.
Oh yeah, good. Okay, so maybe I should just do like music stuff afterward each time. I've got a theremin that I've never been able to figure out how to
Ooh.
do properly. I think my body is just like magnetized too much or something that it doesn't work well. That's what I'm guessing. I've got ukuleles, mandolin. So this does give me an excuse to like actually play any of the instruments, like practice them because I have not in a long time. So just do music.
I do not play a single instrument. Not a
Well,
single one.
you can get the spoons.
The spoons.
And just do that.
I sing when I know no one else is around.
Yeah, I cannot. So like I said, my friend in high school, or I'm like, you have a beautiful voice. I can't sing, and I wish I could, but Winky wants me to keep playing. I'm trying to think of how We Are the Champions goes, and I cannot. And like I said, it's hard to do with piano. Like you do so much two-handed, so it's hard. I need to like learn guitar parts of things where it's just something I could do one-handed. So tell me other queen. Tell me other things that I can look up later on, and that would be good for keytar ones.
There was a Billy Joel request.
Billy Joel. All right, I'll write these down and I'll look into it. I was trying. Ethan Van Sciver on JDA stream before was like wanting me to do. Who was it? Blondie? No, it was no. Who did Time After Time? I think she had to do.
Oh, okay.
I was what's her face? But yeah, he wanted to do Time. And I'm like, I don't know it, so I did learn it. Or I need to. I don't have it memorized, but I did practice it for him. And I still haven't played it for him yet. So. But all right. Again, I just only know classical and two-handed, so it's hard to do because like I keep thinking that I was doing For Elise, but I'm like, you kind of need the other hand to really make For Elise work because it's just like when you have the one, it's really only half there.
Johnny Boy Twitchaw says that you should learn Ecstasy of Gold from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly for the theremin, and I agree with that. The music from that movie is amazing.
Really? I don't know it. My theremin is right here, but it needs plugged into a wall. So this is the theremin. Yep.
Don't hit your keytar.
I know. But yeah, so it's just this little electronic one. But I can't get like actual music to kind of has like a high pitched like sound. Usually with this one only does pitch. The other one you can do like volume control too. So that's how they do like the two-handed. This one was less fancy. But yeah, I just haven't been able to get the pitch right because I can only hold it close up and it makes sound, but like far away, I don't know. And I messaged them too to see, and they were just like no, like this should work. You try, and I tried like with what their instructions were and stuff, and I'm like, don't get it. I think something's weird with my body, so it's just not.
It is. I mean, you're not off, I think, with the theremin because it is about magnetics or whatever.
Yeah. That's why like I mean, I don't know. I think I have low iron or something. I don't know if that affects anything about, because I think that was an issue when I gave blood in high school that I almost had like I couldn't do it because my iron was low or something. So I don't know. I think just my body can't handle it. It's because I'm a star child. You're like the female Star Lord. Oh yeah, okay, I like that. But all right, I'm gonna end this broadcast. Oh, I need to end it over on Utreon first. But thanks, Alex. Thank you guys for staying in chat. And should I put everyone's name? If you guys want your names on screen next week,
all of them.
It's like post them down there. Like if you
make sure you get all those M's.
Yeah, right. Oh,
because I'm looking at it more specifically, and it's not N and then a bunch of M's. It's N,
no, it goes back
M, N, M.
I love it. I love when it's difficult to pronounce. And I don't even feel like, or even, well, that representative, I'm like, I don't care because she has a bad take, but then I'm just like, I'm just going to pronounce things what I think it is. And it's probably wrong, but whatever. Do not misgender me. Sorry.
No, I don't know.
But all right, thank you guys. Have a good night. I'll try and practice keytar stuff if I remember. End the broadcast here and remove us. Goodbye.